All right, what you guys are listening to right now is hopefully kind of copyright music. As I'm doing my sound check, can you guys hear me? Kind of doing something a little bit new here. Yes, absolutely. You should be excited, Megan, because it's Wednesday night. You know what that means.
Okay.
I wonder if Todd Bowles is excited.
He's excited!
Here you go, Todd. All right, 150 left. We'll be on. Get ready for the intro. Here we go, webheads. Remember, we have the Greek on tonight. Here, the Greek. He's on with us. He's looking at me right now like, what are you doing? I'm doing a sound check. I heard also we have the media icon on, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network at 9:40, who's going to jump on for about 20 minutes. And who knows? We may have Best of the Bay's Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy on wrong. No Leo Haggerty tonight. No Seneca Wallace. No Ryan Neal. You know what that means? Phone calls. The phone lines are wide open. There it is. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. 15 seconds left, and we go live. Here we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web on a happy edition as your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take care of business. And by the way, we got some sound clips of national media groveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how great they are. But make no mistake about it. If you've been watching the evolution of Sports Talk Television, we've been telling you from day one what this team could do when they are healthy. Before we get to that, 3 things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. So here it is. Bring your passion, bring our excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, coming on here in about a couple minutes. We will have the media icon, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, giving us some stories from LA, some because he's the sideline guy. So you definitely want to hear from him. And then may also have Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. And as always, we'll take your phone calls because I know that you guys are pumped up like I am. Victory! Love hearing that. On a Victory Monday, Victory Tuesday, Victory Wednesday, Victory Thursday, Victory Friday, Victory Saturday, and then the Bucs get down to business as they face the Dallas Cowboys on prime time television, NBC. And we got you live at Ferg Sports Bar and Grill, getting you ready for it with your pre, half, and post-game edition. No matter if there's drunks, no matter if there's bad Wi-Fi, although, bad Wi-Fi will probably stop the show. But if there's drunks in the background, we'll make it happen. That's what we do here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. We also read your comments because I don't want to neglect you, and then we'll get out to Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, because he's one of the guys, and I'm going to pat him on the back because I know he's going to do the same, that told you that even though the Chargers were coming into this game as the top scoring defense, that they were beatable. He also told you that this team had the potential to have 10 to 13 wins. As I said at the beginning of the season, they're going to have 11. Guess what? They're 8-6. Do you like your chances against the Dallas Cowboys? I do. Wait a minute. You like your chances against the Cowboys? Yes! Yes! Do you like your chances versus the Carolina Panthers? Yes! Do you like your chances versus the Saints? Yes! That's 11 wins right there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no, by the way, as I've said on this show before, I'm like Jason Light of Facebook. I got all the receipts waiting for some of you non-believers who wanted to sell me on the fact that Kirk Cousins was a great quarterback. And although the Falcons and Cousins perform well versus the Bucs in those 2 matchups, guess what? He's benched for Michael Penix Jr. We'll talk about that. Is that that's a struggling team right now. That's a struggling offense with Cousins at the helm. 180 million reasons why he started. Here comes the money. And now he's not starting. And by the way, I didn't believe in the Atlanta Falcons. I never did. Even if they beat the Bucs twice. Didn't believe in them. I didn't. Why would you? Oh, well, the national media hype says this. The national media says this. Some local media said this. Some of you Bucs fans, oh my God, they got all these weapons. They got a plethora or plethora. It's actually plethora, but Ray Kennedy will say it a different way. They got all these weapons. What shall we do? Play defense. Get healthy. Have a better offense. I don't know. What we've been saying on this show forever now, especially Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, run the friggin' ball. Run the ball up their gut. Run the ball until they can't stop you. Run the ball until you get tired of saying, run the ball. Be physical at the point of attack, and that's exactly what this Bucs team has been the last couple of weeks, whether you believe it or not. And oh, by the way, little numbers for you. For the non-believers of Todd Bowles in this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. You ready? Where's my drum roll at? Where is it at? Here it is. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not only 8-6 right now. 8-6, lead the NFC South. I get it. They could lose one game. Atlanta gets back in the chase. They could take control. Right? Tampa Bay improved to 8-1 in December and January regular season games going back to last winter. 8-1. 8-1 since December, last winter. They're 20-5 in such games since 2020. Are you friggin' serious? What does that tell you? Don't give up on this team. Have faith. It's kind of like driving Uber with me. I drive Uber. Sit back in the Tesla. Put your seatbelt on. It's going to be a smooth ride. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. And who knows? Maybe I'll talk about the Rays a little bit later if I get fired up enough. With that being said, I'm done patting myself on the back. I'm done patting Harry on the back. I'm done patting the webheads on the back. Here we go. Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire on this show. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As you know, I'm going to sit there and tell you that you said, you know what? Even though the Chargers are a top-ranked defense, top-scoring defense coming into this weekend, the Bucs can beat them with that offense because they can run the ball, because they have Baker Mayfield, and of course, they have the incomparable Mike Evans. Welcome to the Sports Web on a happy hump day edition, my friend.
Peter, it's always good to be on. Thanks for having me on. And by the way, it wasn't what they needed to do. I just said that they would win this game because they were going to do A, B, and C. And when TJ was on, we were all talking about it. And I said, you want to nullify a great pass rush? Run the football. And it's exactly what they did. They had 200 plus yards rushing, and they took it to them. They beat them. But that wasn't the game I was worried about. That was my game of the week, Pete. It's this game. It's this game coming up that I'm worried about. And you're going to be like, well, why in the world would you be worried about the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know. Let's talk about it. What happened early in the season when they weren't any good? I'm not going to say another word. Teams have a tendency of getting a letdown. Do I think this team's going to let down? No. But they've had a tendency, Pete, of not putting bad teams away. And they let them hang around. You know it, and I know it. But if they come out and they play the same way they did against the Chargers, they will handle this team. But I'm expecting a little bit of a different game in the first half against Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, you're going to have to definitely come out and play your game. And is it going to be the passing game? Is it going to be the running game? Listen, they're a terrible defense when it comes to stopping the run. And I definitely think this favors the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irving, Rachaad White, Sean Tucker, whatever you want to throw out there, especially Irving. Talk about this kid because, listen, he's hurt right now, but he's definitely getting the carries, and he's definitely showing what we.
Who you referring to again?
Bucky Irving.
Oh, Bucky.
Yeah.
You know what? I love the way the kid runs. He runs with passion. He could be the rookie of the year. I mean, he's not going to get it. Okay. They just don't give it to running backs like that. Sure. It's very rare. He doesn't have that prestige. He's not the first round draft pick, but let me tell you something. He's been the most valuable player for any team, and that's been Bucky Irving. With that being said, they need to give him a little bit of a rest. They need to ride the shoulders of their running backs and just play the running back by committee. I don't know what else to say about him. He's just a great all-around football player.
He really is. I want to go out to these comments because I don't want to neglect the webheads tonight. And again, phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Good evening, says Christopher O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Chris?
Roger Shue says first, not so fast, my friend, but
acknowledge me.
Acknowledge you. Megan says, LFG, I'm excited to see our Bucs in action live Sunday in Dallas. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Hey, everyone, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
Roger
hey, Chris.
Shue, the moderator right there says, welcome, everyone. Tim has become a great webhead on this show. And remember, guys, you can call up twice if you want to. I don't want to hear crickets tonight. I want to hear your thoughts. In fact, I got another question out there. What's your confidence level versus the Dallas Cowboys? And seeing that Christmas is coming up, what would you like to get the Bucs for Christmas besides the obvious of a playoff appearance or the NFC South? I'll start first. I like to see this team healthy. Harry, what would you get this team for Christmas if you had the opportunity?
I ain't giving no team anything for Christmas, man. It's what the teams are going to give us for Christmas. They're the ones that are the billionaires, not us. That's a bad question. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to entertain that question, man. I
Why?
want something. You know what I want for Christmas? Give me
What do
season
you-
tickets.
Okay, but
Okay.
if you were
Or I
Jim
could just get credentialed and just go to the games. But I mean, I'm
well,
only
you
kidding.
could. We could absolutely have that conversation eventually. I hope we can have that conversation eventually because to me,
Who knows?
you're more than a. Well, I know
It's not that important to me. I
It
keep
is
telling
important.
everybody that it's
It's
not.
important.
I'm a prognosticator, Peter. I am not
It's
a
important.
journalist.
Listen, should I back
Can
off?
you imagine me asking Baker Mayfield in the locker room, "Hey
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
your over and under was 253 yards. I mean, really? You couldn't complete the other two passes? You know how many people lost millions of dollars? You see, those are the questions the Greek would ask.
Right. I got you. Well, I tell you what, we asked for phone calls. Let's go out to phone calls. Let's go out to Frankie from Wisconsin, the Hill Mark himself. Welcome to the Evolution on a victory Wednesday night. Go ahead.
He's the Buck fan from Cheeseland.
Yes, sir. I love that. Buck fan from Cheeseland. There you go, Hill Mark. What's up? Well, we got no sound here, so this is not starting out well. Stand by here. Let's see. Are you there, Frankie? Are you there, Frankie? Okay, I got no sound from him, so I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I think your channel might have a little bit of a That could be something like that. You see, this is what you get with live shows like this, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
here you go.
What happens? Oh, now we
see. It works. It works. It absolutely works. Okay, let's see if we can get him on because he's probably talking to himself right now. This is what we do. We call you back here. By the way. What's going on, Frankie? How you doing?
Hey. So I dropped my phone.
Oh, you dropped your phone, so it was your fault, not my fault.
Off with your head.
Well, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is.
And I'm in my wheelchair and I can't bend over to pick it up. So I got my pincher trying to pick it up off the ground. Yeah, not fun. Anyway.
Yes, I bet not, my friend. So how are you feeling about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team after they absolutely destroy the LA Chargers 40-17?
Well, I'm extremely even more confident.
Okay.
I am more confident. The only thing that I am semi-worried about when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys is you have arguably one of the greatest wide receivers in the game right now with CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And our secondary is not exactly, something that I want to go and write home about. You know what I mean? So
Frankie, it's okay. You can say it's pretty bad. Go ahead. Yeah, it's cathartic because that's the truth. It's bad.
I miss CD3, dude. I really do.
Well, I don't.
You want to know something? There is not a team in the playoffs, not even the Eagles. Sorry, Gary. Not even the Eagles that have a very strong secondary. They're just making it look a little bit better with a front four. So I just want to let people know that Green Bay, they're probably the best defense right now, but they're just too young. Minnesota blitzes way too much. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Detroit's a shithouse right now. I mean, you talk about smoke and mirrors. Let me give you a stat, Pete. You ready, guys? How about you, Frankie? You ready for the stat? I see Tampa Bay Ray in the back. He's going to listen. The Detroit Lions last week were the only team ever in NFL history to score 42 points, 5 touchdown passes, and no interceptions and lose a football game. Good luck going into the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, with that. And I mean that. Good luck.
Thank you. You helped me with my fantasy football league. Dude, I had Jared Goff and Amon-Ra. Thank you. Woo-hoo.
Well, there you
on
go.
To the next round in the playoffs.
Well, there you go, my friend. And that was my whole deal with the Detroit Lions. The Bucs beat them. They lost Hutchinson, who dominated them in the first matchup. They don't have him. They're banged up right now. Even without Hutchinson, they're not a great defense. I think there's major questions. But
Detroit, let me tell you something. Detroit's going to be worse now, and I'm going to explain why. Because when you score 42 points and you lose, let me tell you something. The entire coaching staff, management, including the owners, are going, hey, man, what do we got to do to make this? You can't be so aggressive. That's why. This is a team that blitzed almost 60% of the time last week, and they gave up that many points. You know what happens this week? It gets worse. They may not give up that many points. They're going to give up 30-plus points from here to the end of the season because they're going to say, hey, we need to play more zone. They do not have the personnel to be able to play that. And you know who else doesn't? The Minnesota Vikings. You heard it here first, right here live on the Sports Web. Minnesota's defense only gets to the quarterback because of the constant pressure that they're putting forward. But you know what teams don't? Philadelphia, and you ready for this? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are getting there with a 4-man front and sometimes with a 5-man front. They're not having to send 6, 7, and 8 people and play man coverage. Todd Bowles is the only coach in the NFC that has gotten it right, knowing that their defense isn't correct and they're not having to blitz every single play. He knows he has deficiencies out there, and he's going to keep players in front of him. Don't get me fired up because right now the hottest team in football are your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And with that being said, we're definitely going to go out to what Pat McAfee had to say and also Colin Cowherd had to say because we kill the national
Who
media.
are they?
Oh, well, they're national guys, and we try to emulate, try to be like.
Oh, no. You're talking about those guys that are on ESPN and stuff?
Yes, ESPN.
Oh, I never listened to that.
No, well, we're going to get you the opportunity. Frankie, go ahead, man.
So, you want my bold predictions?
Give it to me.
All right. This is my bold
Here you
prediction.
go, Ray.
If we can beat Dallas on Sunday night, because Baker just seems to just, for whatever reason, he just like gets scared when he's on primetime. If we can beat Dallas on Sunday night, I predict Tampa Bay and Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Kansas City, 0 chance this year.
I agree with you. I think it's the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry. With Josh Allen and that.
I'm not even going that route, Pete. You ready? Buffalo's going to get exposed, Pete.
Okay. Hold on.
Josh Allen can't do it all by himself. Man, you got to bring Ray up in here. Get Ray's ass in here.
All right. Frankie, hold on a sec here. Let's go ahead and go out to Ray's intro. Here we go.
Mr.
There you go, right there. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend, on a happy Hump Day edition. How you doing?
I'm gonna ask Harry because I want to know: is the team that you're thinking, if it's not the Bills, are they in the AFC North?
It's the Baltimore Ravens.
There you go.
All they got to do is play just a little bit better. All they got to do is play a little bit more defense, and you're not stopping them. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like Buffalo like everybody else does. Because Buffalo's a one-trick pony, just like Detroit, except Detroit has more weapons. Okay? The difference between Detroit and Buffalo, there were 3 possessions that Detroit couldn't score on. Buffalo scored in every single one of them. Detroit got unlucky because Buffalo played just a little bit better defense. Just think about that. Baltimore will get it together. Tampa Bay's getting the momentum. The only team that Tampa has to worry about, and please, I know the callers are going to go absolutely batshit crazy when they hear this, is Philadelphia. Because we beat them already. Do you have any clue how hard it is to beat a team twice in the National Football League?
And Harry, can count last year's playoff victory when the Bucs embarrassed them in the divisional round of the wild card round of the playoffs, and they beat them this year again handily. So you're 100% right there, Mr. Harry the Greek.
All right, Frankie.
Can I just say this? We beat the Packers not once, but twice.
That was with Tom Brady, and that was then. This is now.
We literally said, F you, no way, you're not allowed to the Super Bowl in their stadium. And as somebody that hates the Packers so much.
You don't hate the Packers.
I know he does. Frankie does. Well, yeah, you do, obviously, Harry.
Us winning the Super Bowl. For me, that was like, dude, we don't need to win the Super Bowl. That was us winning the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you something. There was a lot of underlying factors in that game.
Friend.
Frankie, really, I seriously appreciate that call, but I want to
take
take over on what he was saying. The reason why there were a lot of underlying factors in that game, why they did beat them twice that year, especially in the playoffs. There were some key injuries on defense that Green Bay had suffered, and Tampa really favored extremely well against them. And that was another game that Tampa was an underdog on that That was like easy money. I'm going to tell you right now, from this point of the season on to the end of the season, is if you're a gambler and you like to dibble around, this is when you're going to make all the money because you could pick so many underdogs. Teams like Detroit that are limping right now, they're going to be favorites moving here from the end of the season. You can make a huge score going the other direction. Kansas City's another team. They're suffering. They can't protect Patrick Mahomes. Are they really going to let him play with a high ankle sprain coming this weekend? Come on, man. I mean, that's another thing. Buffalo, keep betting them because they're going to be strong going all the way to the playoffs. But come playoff time, you can start looking the other direction. But anyway,
Harry,
we can get to that a little later. What's up, Ray?
No, I want to ask you because you're 100% right. They're gonna. You talk about Josh Allen. He was the one-trick pony for the Bills in that victory over Detroit because it was no defense. The Bills played a little better defense because the Detroit Lions, they can't play with those injuries. And the NFL, the entire public's trying to push that NFL MVP for 2024 onto Josh Allen because again, Buffalo's a one-trick pony. But let me ask you, Barry. I'm going to set you up for this, Harry. What do the Ravens have in the backfield that the Buccaneers also have working in 2024 in the backfield, which makes these your two favorite teams for the Super Bowl in 2024?
Not only does Baltimore have a running back, but they have a quarterback that can run the football.
Ouch.
Are you kidding me? And a quarterback that right now is throwing. How many touchdowns does he have this year? It's like 30 in the air, like 5 interceptions. We're talking about Jackson. Seriously, this is a guy I've been very critical about. Let me tell you something. If this defense just plays one step better than what they're playing right now, they will literally be impossible to beat in the AFC this year.
Well, I tell you right now, Lamar Jackson has had his troubles in the postseason, so that's going to be the underlining story or the main story at the end of the day. It kind of reminds you of Peyton Manning. Always, the thing of he can do it in the regular season, which he's tremendous and always has been a tremendous quarterback. But when you look at the postseason, he has had his postseason struggles, and that's the reason why you acquire Derrick Henry in the first place. But it comes down to play calling, and can that play calling depend on Derrick Henry?
Who's the Ravens offensive coordinator?
I'm trying to think.
It's Arthur Smith, former Falcons coach, right?
No. Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator
in Pittsburgh. My bad.
Pittsburgh Steelers. It is Todd Monken.
But the difference this year in your Lamar Jackson is that they've reported that he's staying at the facility well beyond when the other, because we've seen it, guys. We've seen it in Lamar Jackson's performance in 2024. This cat not only is still the most devastatingly running quarterback that can pull it down at any moment and score from anywhere on the field, but all of a sudden he's reading defenses and he's making those passes, and we've seen him trip up a little bit this season. So Harry, I mean, there's still a chance that he doesn't find that rhythm into the postseason, but if anything, Lamar Jackson, the biggest change we've seen in Lamar Jackson in 2024 is that he's now reading defenses, he's making those calls, and that passing game is being complemented by the king, Derrick Henry, in the backfield.
All right, stand by, guys. I want to go out to these comments from Christopher Cole. ESPN on Get Up this morning was laughing at the Falcons front office. I mean, guys, let's talk about that. That's been the big-time story, and then we'll get out to what the national media has been talking about the last couple of days with Pat McAfee and also Colin Cowherd, who's not necessarily the biggest fan.
We didn't do that yet. I'm sorry.
Yes, we have not done that. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that really quick, and then we'll talk about the Falcons. Let's go out to Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee Show. His thoughts after the Bucs destroyed the LA Chargers last Sunday, 40-17.
And a Bulls defense can beat anybody. They can figure out anybody if they have to, and maybe they will. What if the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl this year? What if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl this year? Hey, they got explosive plays. Yep. They got a defense. Like maybe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers figure out how to make it to the end of the line to win the Lombardi. And that would be a phenomenal story for Baker Mayfield.
Wow. How about that? So they go from the Atlanta Falcons are going to be the top team in the NFC South to what if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers make that run? And guys, this is eerily similar to not only last year with that run, of course, being tripped up by the Saints, so hopefully it doesn't happen this year, but also to 2020's team. I'm not comparing it. In fact, I think this offense, Harry, and you could talk about this, Ray, also, could be more explosive than that Tom Brady-led offense with, of course, the victim of volume, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. In your opinion, right now, as it sits, is this a more explosive offense than that 2020 team, Harry?
No.
Okay.
It's not even close.
Okay.
No, really. I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. It's not even close. But it's more balanced than that 2020 team. And that's not even close.
No, it's not.
Explosive doesn't mean you're winning. Okay? Let's look what just happened to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've seen more teams in the playoffs win with 20 points than I have seen with 40, and I think Ray's going to agree with me when I'm saying that. Thou who plays defense and control the ball winneth.
Tampa Bay Ray, that defense was pretty good in 2020. They shut down those quarterbacks in the postseason. Remember that team at the break was 7-5. It started with Minnesota.
Did you say defense or offense better?
I think their offense overall is.
No, I said the offense is more balanced this year. I didn't know the question. Did you want to know the defense with me or just the offense?
I think the defense. Remains.
The question you asked me that was offense, right?
Offense, yes.
Okay, I answered the correct question. Yes. Sorry, Ray, you got defense.
Tampa Bay Ray. Is this offense more explosive and like Harry said, more balanced, if you will, when it comes to what they're doing right now compared to the 2020 team?
Before Sunday out in LA at SoFi against those Chargers, I would have said it's close, but Tom was able to make those reads. He's able to find a receiver down the middle of the as Frankie was talking about there in Green Bay, finds a receiver there right before the end of the half there, and Tom was making that read. But the way Baker performed this last Sunday in SoFi, which I'm not sure yet SoFi either for the Rams or the Chargers, if we're considering that an away game for teams that are going in there, because it seems like every team that plays there has more home team fans or fans from them visiting than they do there for the Chargers or the Rams. And shout out to the Bucaholics and all the Bucs fans that were there last Sunday, because just take it from us. I hope you guys have had a chance to watch the replay. We heard you, and you were a lot louder than those Chargers fans. Yeah. But Harry said it right there: a balanced offense in 2024. Because that running, everybody who knows ball knows that Buccaneers in this 2024 offense, they got the run balanced. But then you saw Baker hitting Mike Evans across, and you saw him hitting Jaden. You saw him hitting receivers without even missing a beat. A more balanced offense in 2024, and that's an exciting thing.
That is an exciting thing.
This offense's running game is up there with Warwick Dunn, and I tell you, Mike Allstott.
Wow.
That's how good this running game is. Not the same type of running backs, with the excepted comparison between Bucky Irving and Warwick Dunn. Nobody compares to a Mike Allstott. But if you start comparing offenses and running the football, this one's right up there. You know what the difference between this offense is versus back then? They can throw the ball better.
Well, that's true, and that's what Baker Mayfield at this point. If you have Baker Mayfield on that team with Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott, man, you would have most likely multiple Super Bowls. Just saying, with that defense that was shut down. Here's what Colin Cowherd had to say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I just don't like that guy's name.
Well, Harry, if you don't like him, you can listen to him from 12 to 3 on WDAE, and then again from 7 to 9, because they play him twice a day with no local coverage here in our market. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, but they got us for local coverage.
There you go. All right. Colin Cowherd here, and we learned something also about him and Baker Mayfield and their relationship.
Colin Cowherd's the guy that I see on the TikTok things once in a while.
Yes.
He's the one that was talking about the Bears and Caleb Williams.
Yes.
That asshat you're going to play?
I'm going to
No, hey, Harry. He's good. And he was a former guy that was here. And I like Colin. But I was making the point that the fact that iHeart's fill-in for the cats we had here in a Jay Retcher and a...
No, bro, 2 weeks ago I heard about how he was praising and he's stroking Caleb Williams and he's the best thing since sliced bread. And then I just heard today, I heard this guy come across my feed. Oh, it's a dysfunctional organization. It's this, it's that. This guy rides the fence more than anybody I've ever met.
Well, here you go. He's about to ride the fence again with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
Don't pay attention to this, folks.
Like Baker Mayfield. But I can say this, full disclosure, I offered him a job a year ago on my little podcast company. Oh. I think he's going to be a great broadcaster if he wants to. He passed. He declined. Totally get it. But I'm watching him. It's perfect. He's got the grit, and he's a perfect fit. This team's great for him. Oh, I would not want any part of Tampa in the playoffs. I mean, didn't they beat Philly and Detroit? Didn't they take Kansas City to overtime? I mean, what they did to the Chargers yesterday, the number one defense, took them apart in L.A.
Oh, God. Here, jump on the bandwagon, Colin.
You can't run on them because of Vitavia. You can't run on them, yet they can run on you because they have an excellent GM. They have multiple. J-Mac touched on this a couple months ago. They have multiple running backs. You can't cover Mike Evans as he ages gracefully. He and Baker are totally connected at the hip. Tristan Wirfs now is the highest graded left tackle pass blocking, and this team's going to play with house money. So the best Baker is always Baker with a chip on his shoulder. That is Tampa. I would not be surprised at all. Listen, they could host Green Bay in a playoff game. If I'm Green Bay, I want no part of that. It is scary to face a team that is really good, getting healthy, and they're playing with house money. And I said this when Baker went to Tampa. I said Baker's got an Ybor City feel to him. That's a fun part of Tampa, kind of a party area. And I said Baker, he's bounced around the league a little bit, but we know he can play. It's never been a question if he can play. But there's a little bit of a rebel, a little bit of an outlaw to Baker, and I've always felt there's a little bit. Tampa's a legendary mob city. Tampa's had its own little. It's like it's on the fringes of the NFL, but it's in the NFL. And I just think he is such a good fit for them. And when he signed the contract, I said I would absolutely give Baker a 3 or a 4 year contract. I'm not going to pay him $60 million, but I'd pay him $38 million bucks. And I'm watching them yesterday. This Chargers team. You don't move the ball like that on them. And they went up and down the field. It wasn't really competitive. And a lot of it is just Baker's swagger and his confidence and the run game, and they protect him, and here's Baker after.
There you go. So,
Peter, I got a question for you.
Yes, go for it.
Weren't we talking about this 4 or 5 weeks ago, or even before the season?
Yes.
This is the same clown that was talking shit about this team 7-8 weeks ago.
Yes.
Come on, man, stop.
And he's a fence rider because he talks about.
And you know what? It's great to hear. It's really isn't that great to hear that the pundits are finally saying something nice about Tampa Bay?
Yes.
It's wonderful. But you know what? I don't dignify one single person that's out there because they have been such negative. I hate bandwagoners. It has driven me nuts. Look, at least I'm honest. When my team sucks, I'm going to say, hey, Ray, they suck.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't jump back on, but I'll apologize. But I've never heard once any of these pundits go, you know what?
I was wrong.
I was wrong. I picked
right. Yeah, I was wrong because
I picked this team to win 4 games. Holy shit, they're a lot better than what people are saying. You didn't hear any of that, Peter. You know why? Because that's what they get paid for.
And then here's the reason why he
do
offers
people
Baker.
Listen to this.
Well, here's the reason why he offers Baker the job in his podcast, because Baker was out there in L.A. playing for the Rams, and that's where Colin Cowherd is now. Of course, he used to be in the market here, and he is a dog. He knows, but you're right about being a fence rider, because now he's reciting the fact that I paid Baker $33 million a year. Well, guess what? That's what we gave him was $33 million a year. That's what Jason Light signed him to. He's riding that fence, and he's talking about – and you notice, guys, in that thing, the thing he doesn't mention is because right now the defense isn't getting any run. The defense that stopped the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 55, the defense that kept us in the game against the Ravens, almost took us to, against the Chiefs, kept us in the game till late in the game against those Niners when the offense was a little struggling against better defenses. Colin didn't mention the defense once, and at the end of the day, it's Todd Bowles' ability to call the best defensive schemes, blitzes, and calls in the entire league that makes these Buccaneers, no matter whether it's Liam Cohen or Dave Canales calling the offense, it makes these Buccaneers competitive. So, yeah, 100%. Colin Cowherd riding that fence.
All right.
This room's going to get a lot smarter here in about T-5 seconds.
Let's talk to the media. Yes, let's talk to the media icon himself, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. Welcome, TJ, after especially on a happy hump day, a victory right there after. and I have this question for you. Going back to last year, you were there in Green Bay. Is this more impressive of a victory, if you will, than that Green Bay game versus the Packers? Welcome to the Evolution, TJ Reeves.
Great to be with you, kids. Yes. In a word, yes. Just because of the fact they dominated the entire second half. I mean, 27-0 in the second half is not a mistake. It's not an accident. Greek, you feeling me? I mean, Ray, I know you're feeling me. Greek, you feeling me? That ain't an accident. When you're beating a good team like the LA Chargers, like that, 27-0 in the second half. It's
okay, TJ. I just by you saying that, I just want to hear this thing saying, I think you had that game pegged.
I believe you did have that game pegged.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't even close.
did you even
No, I didn't see
believe
the game. Not that type of blowout.
27 unanswered, which again, you don't want to go too crazy. It's a regular season game. I get it, but it's late in the year. You had to have it. And truth be told, in the bye week, wasn't the one game that everybody that was pointing to a possible loss pointing to this game with the Chargers and saying, if you're going to slip, if you're going to lose one, it's probably the game at LA against the Chargers. And not only did they not slip, they hit them over the head with a 2x4 in the second half. And I am here to testify on the sports web that you looked at the body language of the Chargers, especially on defense in the fourth quarter. They were a beaten football team. From chasing Bucky Irving, chasing Mike Evans, the dial-ups that Liam Cohen had in certain situations on third down, the way they were hammering them with the run game, they look like a beaten team in their own building. And by the way, they're chasing a wild card while they're at it. So that was impressive. And I'm not saying that what happened in Lambeau wasn't impressive, because it was. That's on the road in the cold. You had to have it, but it just wasn't as dominant. How about that, Mr. Sports Web host, Mr. Peter Blake?
No, that's exactly what it was. And I'll tell you what, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave the rest of the National Football League the blueprint on how to beat the Chargers. The same things that we were talking about last week, that if you stay with that run game, that's going to nullify that pass rush, keep them on their heels, because then they become a very pedestrian team. And I was not one of the people, TJ, and I'm not trying to reach around and pat myself on the back, that was worried about this team losing to the Chargers. It's this week that I'm worried about, because I knew they would have that big win coming off of it. And this is the week that you could have a potential letdown. And let me be very clear. If the Buccaneers do the same exact thing they did this past week to the Cowboys, they have all the momentum. They will be a top 2 team in the NFC. It'll be them and Philadelphia, not Detroit. They're smoke and mirrors right now. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is the game. You have got to put your foot on the throat of a team that's kind of struggling, who's playing, by the way, a lot better. And that defense is not as bad as you think, Peter. They will come after Baker, and they will do the best that they can to stop a run game. But if they have that same blueprint to stop that pass rush and you commit to that run game, you will end up with the same result. TJ, love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Did Ray disappear on us? Is Ray out of there?
Yeah,
Ray,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess I need
much love for him as well.
Yeah, he'll be back. I think.
But in any event, your point about the Cowboys is well taken. I mean, they are on life support for the playoffs. They got to have what was the John McKay line? We have to have kidnappings and plane crashes and whatever else. One time when we were talking about playoff scenarios, the Cowboys have to win their 3 remaining games. One of them's against the Commanders. They got to have the Commanders lose all 3. They got to have something else happen too. So they're on life support. And this is one of those things where much the same way as the Raider game, much the same way as the Giants game at the beginning, if you get off to the roaring start and demoralize them, I think it's bye-bye. As crazy as it is to say, Dallas does not have a lot left emotionally. They're beat up physically. What did I see? They have a couple of more guys that are hurt. Another one going on injured reserve. What is it? Diggs that's out for the year now with the knee injury. So they are there to be beaten. I know they have CeeDee Lamb, but they don't have a lot else. Micah
the running
Parsons,
game looked pretty good, man. The running game looked pretty good, TJ. I'll be honest with you.
Relative.
The defense.
They're playing Carolina for the run game to look good. So,
but here's another one for you. And I think I said it last week to you. When did Carolina in the last 2.5 years become a favorite?
Right.
Really? And they were favorite in that
At
game.
Home.
That was my other game. I was like,
home.
You got to take the Bucs. Something. First off, I don't like parlays. There was the 2 games of the parlay. I says, do me a favor, run and make sure you push it all in. Take Tampa on the money line because you're going to get a bigger return, and take Dallas on the money line at Carolina. Carolina didn't deserve to be favored against a college team. I'm sorry, they haven't proven it yet. But you know what? By the way, the third game, it's Texas over Clemson. Just to let you know, keep
Texas.
running.
You got another part. You got another.
He's got Texas over Clemson. So
this guy's got more angles than my geometry book in high school. But back to the Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
Back to the Cowboys and back to this situation. Again, Sunday night, they know they need to win, and Cooper Rush has played better. So this will be a challenge. You cannot go in there and sleepwalk. That's another big concern here, especially with what you said. Do you have a letdown? Do you sleepwalk? I don't think we're going to see that. Just from the standpoint that they have been focused at the beginning of games and going and getting opening drive touchdowns over and over and over again. And let's just see. Let's just see if they can dial it in. By the way, we had the big debate last week about Mike Evans, Hall of Fame, Levante David, Hall of Fame. Those two guys showed up large again. I know it's one game since we last talked. How about Greek, Ray, Peter? Have you seen the Levante David stat among all the accolades?
No.
There are, since they began keeping the quarterback sack stat, which is like mid-70s, early to mid-70s, or whenever it was that they began to officially, may have been a little later, like late 70s, they officially began to credit quarterback sacks. That Levante David now joins a group. It's like 8 players, but listen to some of these names. Have you ever heard any of these names, kids? Tampa Bay Ray, you ever heard any of these names? Jason Taylor, heard of him. Ray Lewis. How about Julius Peppers? How about Harry's Brian Urlacher? You heard of any of these names? All of those guys have 40 or more takeaways and 30 or more sacks. All right, now maybe I have that reverse. It's 40 or more sacks, 30 or more takeaways. It's one or the other. It's late on a Wednesday night. I think it's 40 or more sacks and 30 or more takeaways. Jason Taylor, Hall of Fame. Brian Urlacher, Hall of Fame. The late Junior Seau in the Hall of Fame.
Well, TJ, can I ask you something?
In the Hall of Fame. Hold on. Levante David joined that group with the 2 sacks on Sunday. So the resume for the future Hall of Famer just continues to build and build and build. Go ahead there, Tampa Bay. Right?
No, I was going to ask you, TJ, because they compare Levante to Luke Kuechly because they came into the league at the same time, and Luke was a heck of a linebacker. Right. Levante's been even as good as not better. But when you heard that stat, I'm asking you guys, I'll ask all 3 of you, when you heard that statistic, did we not think about when we made the statistic for Rondé Barber to be a Hall of Famer because of his sacks and takeaways and what he did in moving from cornerback to safety? And all of a sudden, it felt to me like 100% Levante David is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and we should see him there in Canton, Ohio.
Well, you make a good point that you kept, and Ira Kaufman kept using it in the Hall of Fame room with all the other voters and kept saying, you look at this man's longevity, Rondé Barber, and you look at the fact that he's the only guy on the list with, I believe it was 45 or more takeaways and 30 or more sacks in his case. He's the only one out of any defensive back ever. So it's tough to keep him out. And Levante now with 11 seasons of 1,000 tackles in a season. So there's a lot to love about what this guy is, and I'm not so sure that he can't play another season at the high level that he's playing. If he wants to come back and be a 35-year-old playing in a 14th season, from what we're seeing, would you doubt whether he could come back and still play at a high level? I would not.
No,
right now.
No. You got to take me back to Mike Evans there because I love the tippy-toe touchdown, 57 yards. You're on the sideline there. Take me back
by
to that
me.
moment. Yes.
To clue you in, right by me. And Evans, again, comes all the way from the right side of the formation all the way across the field while Baker's working to the left, and I'm watching Baker, and Baker's waving like to Kate Otten, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, there's 13. I mean, let me lead 13 a little bit. And the Charger came up to put the hit on him, and he bounced off that guy, and then the tiptoe was right in front of me. It's like this. It's like, oh, he's still in bounds. Oh, that's going to be 6 and a game changer here for the Buccaneers.
Did you show any emotion, just out of curiosity?
I always say the same thing, and Peter knows this. Touchdown for the Buccaneers, touchdown for the other team, whatever. I learned long ago, just stand there because somebody's taking a picture or somebody has video of you in the background.
It's a Fruiter film.
Right. Either be an idiot or a cheerleader or whatever you're doing. So generally speaking,
do you give a smile? Do you give a little fist bump?
I just stand there. I stand there. I'll find my photo to verify what we're talking about. here in just a second.
An
all-time moment where I just was the TJ Stone face, and you're going to love it when I find the photo here in a minute.
Not even this.
No, you could do that. You could have done that a couple times. Like, how about the Baker Mayfield throw on the second touchdown?
Yes.
That would have been the look right there.
Yeah, I love it. Give me the eyes.
Well, TJ, can I ask you?
To Evans on the second score. Yes, go ahead.
Credit to Buccaneer Radio and 98 Rock, because I was listening to you, and when they had that pass interference early in the game, and you went, and Gene and Dave went right to you, and you were so politically correct, which is what I love about you, TJ. Well, not because you're so great, but because you're so you can walk that line. And on the broadcast of the game on Sunday, you said it didn't look like pass interference to me. How much was that not pass interference? That first pass interference early in the game when it was still very much in doubt, and the Chargers were trying to establish an offensive production.
Yeah, and so some of that you just, you wish they would let it go. I will not say, I will say the officials rarely decide an outcome to the game, and they weren't going to decide that game because the Bucs were decisive. But you sometimes got to even it up. Like the umpire, whoever that was on Scott Novak's crew, he threw his flag for holding 4 times in the Buccaneer backfield, twice on Graham Barton. Can we get a hold on Yaya Diaby at some point? The dudes have got 2 handfuls of Diaby jerking him around to get to the quarterback, and the same umpire's looking right at it. Can we get a flag for that? So there was some of that that was going on, and I'm looking here. I'm trying to find my photo. And when I find my photo,
I gotta see
the fly, it will be well worth it.
This is awesome. This is what the evolution is, Pete. This is we're bringing you live right out of TJ's pictures in his iPhone in the cloud.
I gotta find it, TJ, yes. I got to tell you, man, if I'm watching a game, and it's not just Tampa, but if I'm watching a game, if I have access to the radio personalities, I will literally, I don't give a shit who is talking on the game. I just turn the volume off on the TV.
Yes.
And I will slow the game down enough just so that I can hear the announcers on the radio. Because the color analyst on radio, there's not one bad one around in the National Football League. I would rather listen to that than anything. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Tampa Bay Ray. Especially when you said that.
Because they have to paint that picture.
And bear in mind, we're the most familiar with the team that you're calling the game for, obviously, for the home team, for the Buccaneers. Right. So if you want the insight on what's going on or why it's happening, or, for example, like one of the things I'm big on right now, and I still can't find my photo, but I promise I'll find it.
I got to see this photo because
I'm selling it hard.
You sold it, Teach. I got to see it now.
I'm selling it hard, and it doesn't have me in all the pictures that I'm seeing. It doesn't have me in them, but I will find it. I will keep looking.
Well, let me ask you this, TJ. You were outside
Let me say this. Perfect example. All right. Todd Bowles told anybody that would listen about hiring Liam Cohen. I love the way that he ran the football at Kentucky last year. He even said, I went to the Georgia-Kentucky game. I had the opportunity during the bye week to be at the Georgia-Kentucky game because Bowles' son is a reserve player on Georgia's team last year. And he said to watch the scheme and watch the way that they used the misdirection and used the zone blocking. He goes, I loved his run blocking. He said, we're going to be he said this back in August, we're going to be so much better a team running the football this year because of this guy's scheme and what he's doing. So now it is time for us to bow to that a little bit. My God, how many games have the Buccaneers killed the opposition at this point with the run game? A run game that, let's say it, was pathetic. Yes. Pathetic for the last 2 or 3 years is now the 180-degree opposite, where you're killing people with the run. And all I'm saying is we, as the broadcasters of the Bucs or the local media, we know that. It's now our job to articulate that to the fans and the audience. Your head coach was saying, if you were listening, this is why I'm hiring Liam Cohen. I had my choice of 2 or 3 or 4 guys probably to be the offensive coordinator. I'm hiring Liam Cohen for the ability to run the ball. Not the only reason, but the ability to get that run game going and establish everything else. And it is some kind of weapon when the other team knows this is what you're going to do, and you still line up and do it anyway, which they've begun to do with Bucky Irving and smash people with the run game in between the tackles. This is fun. This is fun.
PJ, let me ask you, why does it feel like the Buccaneers in 2024 and what we're doing offensively, along with a defense, a bend but don't break defense, a Todd Bowles defense who's able to, keep Lamar Jackson and take the Chiefs to overtime. Why does it feel like this is the first time that Buccaneer fans are discovering that we have an offensive coordinator who's decided to run it where they're not? They're going to load the package. Let's go deep. They're going to bring 8 guys in the box. We'll go behind them. They're going to try to cover us, in quarters. We're going to throw it underneath the K-dot and that's one of the reasons why I think Buccaneer fans are so excited in 2024 is because we suddenly have an offense instead of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or we're just going to, Tom Brady, we're going to show you how we can read defenses, and I'm not taking away from that. But now we have an offense that the opposing defenses right now, Dallas has to be looking at a lot of film because the fact of the matter is that Liam Cohen's going to unload that gun at the same time with that Todd Bowles defense, and that's why the Buccaneers are dominating in 2024.
Yeah, and one other thing is Graham Barton in the middle. It's not the only thing, but Graham Barton is a very physical, athletic center. And I know he had a couple penalties last week, and that is one of the things that has really helped them where the cutback lane is there because the center is creating that crease for Bucky Irving or even for Rashad White to be able to get through there. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, obviously, to see this. And are they home free? No. Do they have to strap it on and be ready for the Cowboys Sunday night? Sure. But my goodness, if you get this one on Sunday night, which would be a 5th consecutive victory off the bye week, would be a 6-2 record on the road. Hello.
Yes.
Close out the season. You are playing with some serious confidence, obviously, headed to the home stretch in 2 games.
I want to throw this up.
Mo.
And that is called Mo. And right now we're on with the media icon who has all the Mo right now, Mr. TJ Reeves, along with Harry the Greek. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. I'm your host, Peter Blake of the Sports Web, your Rolex reporter. Yeah, I read this statistic coming in. Tampa Bay improved to 8-1 in December and January regular season games going back to last winter. They are 20-5, TJ, in such games since 2020, the first of Tom Brady's 3 seasons with the Bucs, of course. But they're winning in December and January. Talk about Todd Bowles, his attitude. When you talk to him in that locker room, he seems like he's confident. He talked about recalibrating after the bye week. Talk about Bowles and your conversations with him in the locker room.
Again, you get the same kind of even keel thing, and he keeps saying something that really, fans, they listen to this, they roll their eyes or whatever he says. And he's meant it. He's been sincere. He still means it. When we do the little things well, where he's talking about being in position, taking care of the football, don't commit penalties. And we saw some turnovers and penalties in LA. But, make the extra effort to make the block in the run game. The little things. Make field goals. Make the tackles on special teams that we're seeing this team. The little things add up to the bigger things. So that's one thing that he has continued to consistently say. When you see us take care of the little things, and when it's not Buccaneers beating Buccaneers, look at what a difference it makes. Again, are they healthy? Not healthy enough right now. Got to get Antoine Winfield back, hopefully. Maybe get Jordan Whitehead back here at the end of the year, potentially. That's about it. You're not going to see Chris Godwin. I know there's a lot of speculation out there. I mean, his ankle was destroyed in that Ravens game, unfortunately. So that's me saying that. But get as healthy as you can get and be ready. Get into the tournament. Get into the postseason, and then let's see if anything can happen in the postseason. You just want the puncher's chance. We saw it a year ago. Got in the postseason and took out the Eagles. This time a year ago, the Eagles had not unraveled. They were beginning to unravel in the final 2 or 3 games, and then the Buccaneers took it to them on the wild card weekend. Is that, and Greek, I sensed part of this, is that maybe the Detroit Lions for this year that have been so good from September up until the beginning of December, but now with all their injuries on defense and the fact they seemingly can't stop anybody, is it going to unravel on the Lions late in the year and in the postseason? Stay tuned. We'll see.
Yeah.
TJ, that's a great comment that you made, and I've been talking about it. And I'm sure you know this, but I like bringing it up again. Detroit did something in this past week that no team has ever done in the National Football League. You score 40-plus points. You have 5 touchdowns passing, 0 interceptions, and you lose the game. TJ, it's unfortunate, and I'm telling you this as a football fan, and and you have to feel sorry for people that are Detroit Lion fans. You just have to. If you're a Bear fan or a Bucs fan, you know what it's like to lose, but not to that extent. What this team has done, okay? Your heart has to go out to them, and I'm an NFC North guy, but they're going nowhere quick. I'm not even sure they're going to win this division. That's how bad it's going to unravel for this team. That's horrible to say. And TJ, before you came on, I was talking about the two teams that really have the momentum. It's going to be Philadelphia and Tampa. If Tampa makes it and if they win this game, they're winning out. The end. That's it. I'm going to announce it now. And they're going to have that momentum going in. But the teams that are real trouble, it's Detroit. It's the Minnesota Vikings. Let me explain why. This team's not injured on defense. They're just not that good. Okay, you really want to watch a team on defense? The only way, TJ, that they're getting pressure on a quarterback is they're having to send 6 and 7 guys. They're when I tell you they leave receivers out on an island, good luck doing that to Tampa. Because Mike Evans, let me tell you something. Baker will slide 2 steps and he will just loft it up there. Hey, you know what? If it's a pick, it's a pick. It ain't going to be a pick.
Well, it's not like just that, Harry. I mean, he'll hit Bucky Irving or he'll hit Rashad White out of the backfield, and you got a running game, and that's the reason why what you talked about with the Ravens and the Buccaneers and Derrick Henry and what the Buccaneers are doing here this season is because it's that running game that blitz. They can't pin their ears back when they got to worry about the rush, and you worry about the rush, and then you can pick them apart with that pass.
And the last thing I wanted to clear up with Detroit, and I'm going to let you talk, Pete, real quick. Last thing the reason I just don't give what this is going to happen. I'm going to give you the reasons why I think it's going to happen. You're going to notice from here to the end of the season that Detroit is not. Trust me when I tell you, they are not going to let that happen. What happened from before? They're going to give up 30 points a game their next couple of games because they're not going to blitz as much. That's the only way that they were able to create any kind of pressure. Now, you know what? The one-man show up there in Buffalo did it with one guy. That's it. Can't imagine what happens when you have a quarterback that has actually a couple of receivers in a running game. You are going to have to play some zone. TJ, they blitzed almost 80% of their plays against Buffalo. Wow. When you talk about stubborn, let me tell you something. The general manager, the owners, the president, the fans, everybody's having a conversation with Dan Campbell. They are going to have to do something to resemble a defense because right now they don't have one.
And they have to try to generate a pass rush without Aiden Hutchinson, and right now they're banged up. I want to go out to one of our friends here, or one of our colleagues, Mr. Jay Retcher, former CSB brother, right there doing his thing on the Jay Retcher podcast. He says, does PJ have a hat for each of the points the Bucs scored against the Chargers last Sunday?
I probably do, Jay. And in fact, you know what? Just for you, I'll add another one to the hat collection that's back behind there. Yes, the hat stack has gotten longer and larger. So, yes, I can put that hat on. Earlier tonight,
Chicago hat?
The Memphis Tigers did put away the Virginia Cavaliers in basketball. I can put that hat on. But, yeah, I mean, we got World Series Rays. We got, world champion Buccaneers hat, Lightning hat. Yeah, it's a hat for every point against the Chargers. It's a good line there from Jay. I love it.
That's good stuff there by Jay Retcher. With that being said, and I know you got to get out of here, and we love when you come on here. We love when the media.
I'm still good here for a couple of minutes. I can't find my photo, but go ahead.
Okay, well, really quick then.
You got to find that photo, TJ.
Well, you got to find that. But Jalen McMillan, to me, has also been the key. What have you seen? What are the differences from the first half of the season to now? What have you seen from this kid? Because it certainly seems like he's developing confidence, and you could see him and Mike Evans interact. Kind of talk about McMillan a little bit.
He obviously, it's a long year. You go through ebbs and flows. He has slid a little bit into the Chris Godwin role, playing on the outside and not as much in the slot. So that's part of it.
Did a good job.
And I think, there's also ebb and flow in calling plays. I mean, like Cade Otton was the primary weapon with Mike Evans being hurt. With Evans back in there, there's teams maybe trying to take Otton away some, so that gives McMillan a chance. I also believe in good karma as well, and that video, I reposted it from Buccaneers social media of he and his teammates going and visiting the sick kids at All Children's Hospital, the rookies, last Tuesday, not yesterday, but now 8 days ago, when he had caught the 2 touchdowns in the Raider game and then bounced back and was in a hospital room with the other rookies on Tuesday morning, brightening up a very sick young lady's life, being in there, and numerous other kids that were in that hospital ward. I believe good things come from things like that, and lo and behold, there was Jalen McMillan making big catch after big catch and a touchdown on Sunday. So good on him, good on the Bucs and the community with that kind of thing. And it's a guy that made a lot of big plays at the end of last year. I know it's college, but in the Pac-12 title game, he was a big target, Peter Blake, of whom? Michael Penix of the Washington Huskies, including in the semifinal game against Texas that they won in the Sugar Bowl. And they didn't do a whole lot against Michigan in the championship game, but Jalen McMillan had like 6 catches and a touchdown in that game as well. He played well down the stretch of their season.
Well, TJ, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So Jaden McMillan gets that personal foul. He stepped into the guy. So we get that. Right. The NFL, the way they're defining, taunting in 2024, and I'm not saying I disagree with it. I actually agree with it. But he stepped into him. When Mike Evans puts his arm around him, he walks to the sideline. You're the Bucs sideline guy. You're there in LA. You're there at SoFi. Did you guys also feel that? Because we definitely felt it on the broadcast, again, as we're listening to you and Gene and Dave on the 98 Raw coverage of the Buccaneer Network.
It was right in front of me, and they always get the second guy, and he's a rookie. And the Charger guy did what he did, shoving him up towards his face, and then he retaliated. He bumped him and did it right in front of the ref. And you can't do that stuff because that potentially cost them. It backed them up 15 yards, and it forced them to try a longer field goal, which they ended up making. But it took them out of any chance to maybe get a first down or go for it on 4th down. Yeah. So this time of year, you got to play smarter and play with this, because you're going to have guys trying to do that kind of stuff to you, and you got to learn from it. And hopefully they have gotten the point across on you can't do those kind of things if you're looking to win at the highest level and in the biggest games and get to the postseason. Those are the kind of things that can croak you. That's
I'm sorry.
Let me show you what I came up with.
I got the picture.
Because I've been trying.
I want the picture.
I've been trying to deliver on this for like 10 minutes. All right, so Devin Hester was doing that. All right, so picture, this is in Atlanta, 2014, when he broke the touchdown record. But picture the guy there on the screen in the black who's just standing and watching. That's me. That's not me, but that was me standing there and watching. I can't find the similar photo that I've had before of where I am standing stoic behind Devin Hester while he's doing the Deion high step with the arm up and the whole thing when he broke the punt return record.
Yeah.
And that night while standing on the sideline, I suddenly got text message after text message after text message that had the photo, because I guess it was an Associated Press photo, and ESPN.com had it on the front page of ESPN.com. I got people going, hey, you're famous as Where's Waldo here in the background. So at least I wasn't doing the, oh, what is he doing? I've learned long ago. Just stand there and watch.
I got TJ. I'm going to do it. TJ, this should be your new move.
Yeah, kind of like that. I don't know if Peter found the photo. He's probably looking and trying to scan and find the photo.
I am looking for the photos, but I
can't find it either. But I'm stoic TJ in the background.
I've got it.
I want to go out. I want to go out to El Bushman here, because this has also been one of the talks. And then I got a question from Dave England about.
Oh, I'm here. Hold on. I'm here.
Okay.
I found me.
Hold on.
I found me.
There he is. There he is. I remember that picture. With
a little more hair on the head in 2014, going, my God, he's going to run it in for a touchdown, but I'm not going to react any more than that. So when you ask me, how I
remember that.
How I react, that's win or lose right there. I generally just try to stand there, because you never know when one of those cameras is going to show you or shoot you while you're acting like an idiot.
That's how the media icon do. That's how the media icon do.
God, it took long enough. It took like almost 15 minutes for me to find that.
Well, listen, I remember it was at the game Thursday night, primetime, where the Falcons won 56-14 in a drubbing.
Yes, correct. It was a bludgeoning.
TJ's still doing this.
And I had, by the way, that similar reaction for a lot of the night as the Falcons scored for the 35th point, the 42nd point, and the 49th point. TJ's still standing there with the same reaction that night.
Yes, well, that was a lot of reaction from Bucs fans on that whole season.
Well, Gene, it's just not looking good from down here in the sideline. But you
have
know
anything
what?
that I
I'm going to look good.
I was going to say, I can't really add anything at this point from down here. It's what you're saying. It's the same thing that you're saying.
All right, so the stadium deal with Stu, what were your thoughts on this? Because when they got it done, and this really upset me, and this is the reason why I completely hate Rays ownership. This is the reason why I believe fans don't
Hate's
support
a tough
this.
word, Peter.
Hate, I just, Stu Sternberg, and this the way, like, they don't read the room. Like, okay, Rays ownership, you understand that the Bay Area just went through 2 catastrophic hurricanes, and yet you're talking about 2029 and how you don't have enough money. And this is what
I submit?
Yes.
Pardon the interruption.
Yes.
Like Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser. May I submit?
Yes.
Is it that they don't know how to read the room, or is it that they do not care? In particular, the owner does not care. Let me submit that. What would you say?
I mean, they don't care. Because, listen, if they did care, then they would be doing more. And they're telling the fans, listen, we need this, and he's been doing this. Stu has been doing this for 10 to 15 years. They have been consistent. If you look up buzzkill in the dictionary, it has Stu Sternberg and the Tampa Bay Rays. And I love the franchise as a whole. I hate this ownership when they were in a playoff run.
Let me submit this, and I'll try not to take 15 minutes. I'll try to time me. Harry, time me. This is like the 800
Okay, I'm not starting it. Go.
We're going 2 laps.
Go, TJ.
2 laps. Who wanted out of the lease? Go ahead. 2 minutes. Who wanted out of the lease at Tropicana Field to be able to look for a new stadium location? Come back to the quad picture there. I'm going to direct the show, Peter.
Go for
Who wanted out of the lease at Tropicana Field to be able to look? Who wanted out of the lease? Stu and the Rays.
The Rays, Stu Sternberg.
They commissioned a study, and the study said put the stadium in Hillsborough County, somewhere in eastern Hillsborough County, if not downtown, which is the location that who picked? Who picked the location? Stu. Who came to an agreement with Hillsborough County for a stadium deal in 2018?
Stu.
While still trying to get St. Pete closed.
By the way, for that whole time period, who proclaimed downtown St. Petersburg as a failed location? Was that the Tampa Bay area, the media, the Rays fans?
I remember this. I remember
who walked away. How am I doing, Harry? I still got a minute left. What I got? 30 minutes?
Keep going, because you're rocking it. Keep going.
Who walked away from the 2018 deal in the location that they picked? Who walked away?
Stu.
Who relentlessly
tried
to convince the other owners we're going to do a split stadium thing in split cities with Montreal,
and they bought in.
Where Tampa Bay is going to build me a stadium and Montreal is going to build me a stadium. Who did that for 2 years?
Did you forget Chicago?
Peter, come on.
What do I have left? Do I have 30 seconds left?
No, you got another. We just got an extra minute. Hold on, Ray. Hold on. But you forgot about the Chicago deal that we'll play up there too. It just wasn't. Well, no, we haven't gotten there yet. Keep going.
Well, yeah.
But TJ, can I answer you? Because the initial question was, is Stu Sternberg, is he and I agree with you because you're right on all those fronts. But then we go back to the guy who just last February, going into this 2024 season said, ooh, my payroll's pushing $100 million. I'm starting to sweat a little. And I'm like, you're about to get a $3 billion deal to develop half of St. Petersburg. And you're talking about you're getting a payroll that's approaching 1/3 of your AL East opponents. And you're talking about how you're sweating. So you're right, TJ, but I think the amalgam or the disconnect here is that also he just doesn't understand because you're spending $96 million.
Is it that he doesn't understand, or is it that he doesn't care, Tampa Bay Rays?
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And he's a smart businessman, and he doesn't care. I'm going to say this. This doesn't reflect the sports web TJ Reeves or Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. He only represents me. He doesn't give a shit. That's what it is. No. He is a man who's all about the money, and it's for himself. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's why he's a billionaire.
So now we fast forward to this situation.
Sorry, didn't mean to be. It's after 10.
My
No,
final
you're right,
30
Harry.
seconds. Can I take my final 30 seconds? This is like a
it's all
debater
yours.
in Congress.
The floor is yours.
My
The floor
final
is yours.
30 seconds is after all of this, where he has been given on a silver platter a real estate deal, I can't say it with a straight voice, that has nothing to do with building the stadium. Why in the world would you do a real estate deal with someone that's not tied to building the stadium? It's crazy what they gave away.
Yeah,
Why
in
would
St.
they do
Petersburg.
that?
Ken Welch,
I got to hear this because I'm not really familiar with this, TJ.
that's exactly what they did. The real estate deal is separate from the stadium deal. That's what
I can't believe that.
It is. That's what
I can't believe it, though.
back and forth is about right now. Of we can't blow up the stadium deal because he can still keep the real estate deal that he made.
Well, TJ, let me ask you this.
Hold on, Ray.
Harry, hold on. In 1998, when Vince Nampoli and the group bought this team, the original lease deal was if the team is still in the city limits of St. Petersburg in 2027, we'll give you this deal. And then they got this deal done back in July. We celebrated twice. We had two parties at the city and the county level. And I'm trying to find out, do you know, TJ, did they actually write into this new contract to supersede the original contract from 98 to say, okay, we're just happy you're still at the table. You can have half of it. Let's still try to get the deal done.
Yes, they did a separate deal, a separate contract for the real estate development of the Trop site, is my understanding of that. And that's what all of this is ultimately about. You heard Chris Latvala, the county commissioner in Pinellas County, say at their meeting yesterday that the fear here is that if we don't do our part and all of this goes to the courts and the lawyers to get paid, he's going to be able to walk away with the real estate deal and with the money and without building the stadium.
Well, that's what you said, though, if he walks away. So and I heard that because I want to go ahead and shout out to JP Peterson. He had Chris Latvala on his show this morning, and from 10 to 12, good interview. And to shout out to T. Kraz, who had him 2 weeks ago on 95 to WDAE, and T. Kraz put his feet to the stones. But let me ask you, you just said that if he decides not to be here, we put this out there. So at the end of the day, if Stu steps back from the table because there's a deep pocket in Tampa or he wants to sell the team, he's still not going to get half the development because at the end of the day, that deal still comes back to the team being here in 2027.
Why would they allow this?
Well, hold on a sec now. The reason why this deal was going to get done in St. Pete and only St. Pete is because of the redevelopment deal. That has always been what the
why are they allowing this?
Because they are emotional about this. They're not thinking about it from a business standpoint.
The you're talking about is the leadership, Ken Welch, the mayor,
correct,
the city council, and the deal that they went along with, which again,
40-year-old deal.
There were people who at the time while it was going on saying, what are you doing giving this away? What in the name of all that's holy are you doing giving a billionaire a real estate deal like this that's not tied to him having to build the stadium when we've studied other deals in Atlanta, Minnesota, San Diego?
He can walk. Hold on.
If that's true, then we're screwed.
If they give him this deal, he could actually walk away and keep.
I don't think so, Harry. I'm going to call you guys right now. I'm going to say right now.
Time out, Rick. I got to hear this. What?
This is what the concern is. Don't take my word for it.
It's a concern, but I don't think it's defined.
But listen to the commissioner saying yesterday at their meeting, we have to follow through with approving these bonds because if we do something to disrupt the building of the stadium, the real estate deal is still intact that was agreed to. It's a separate deal.
I heard that. No, I heard that. I watched the entire meeting. I watched the entire meeting.
So he gets to keep the land.
If Pinellas County wouldn't approve the bond expenditures, we put it back in Stu's court. But if Stu decides
they're looking to put his feet to the fire on, are you building the stadium? And when you're not building the stadium, then you have destroyed the agreement and the deal, and the whole thing can go away. And so the public outcry at that point will probably overwhelm. Here's the reality, and I thought the commissioner brought up a great point. Chris Latvala, again, brought up a great point. And I've heard it pronounced all these different ways. I haven't heard him pronounce it. Is it Latvala or Latvala? All right,
Latvala. I've got
Latvala pointed this out. He talked to Rob Manfred, the baseball commissioner, recently, and he even said after he made his statement yesterday, he said with JP this morning, I'm not going to reveal everything in the conversation. I want to keep it private. But Rob Manfred made it very clear they're committed to this market. They're committed to it working in this market. They know about the market size, the fans, and Latvala then volunteered. I believe they're going to say to Stu Sternberg, sell the team.
Yeah.
You are going to make a 5-fold profit, 8-fold profit on what you paid for it. Sell the team to somebody that's locally tied and wants to build the stadium. Cash out. He's a Mets guy. He's an admitted Mets guy. He wrote a book about his Mets fandom. There was a lot of belief he was going to try to buy the New York Mets several years ago, and Steve Cohen bought the Mets.
Yep.
So cash out of the deal. Let somebody else do the deal. Get your money. Let somebody else do the deal.
Wow.
At this point, and Major League Baseball and the other owners may put his feet to the fire.
And
they
have
need
to,
to.
I like
it. And they need to, TJ, because over the years, this Rays franchise has become a poverty franchise because of Stu and not spending the necessary money on the players, not keeping the fan favorites, and on top of it, taking the money, the revenue sharing from the Yankees, from the Red Sox, from these big market teams, and pocketing the money.
Well, Peter, let me ask you though: the Rays have been number 3 in the American League since 2014 when Stu Sternberg bought them. They've had the most competitive team, and I get that they haven't been buyers at the end of the market. They haven't been buyers in August or September, but at the end of the day, it's still one of the best teams in the American League, and they have been doing it on the backs of that luxury tax.
I don't care if they're Lamar Jackson of Major League Baseball during the regular season. I don't care if they're the.
So we're the Pirates. We give up. We go like 30 and 132, and we consider it a win.
Listen, if you're trying to sell me on the fact of getting a new stadium is going to improve the fan base.
Well, now you're talking stadium. I'm talking about the fact that the Rays have been competitive for 10 years. They've been winning the American League East with the lowest payroll in baseball.
But isn't the argument they've been competitive in spite of the owner not spending money?
That has been. It sucks. You're right.
I mean, saying, like, can you imagine if they spent a little bit more money? Can you imagine if they made the moves at the trading deadline? Can you imagine? You can't.
But look, that ship has sailed. I hate to be a downer on a Wednesday night. That ship has sailed because he auctioned off all the players at the trading deadline last year.
Yes.
For this season, he's now traded another $10 million pitcher away just earlier this past weekend. So I don't think there's any hope that you're going to see a payroll
without acquiring a bat.
The thing that I've always been very critical about the Tampa Bay Rays, because of the fact of Stu Sternberg. This team has done it
in spite of him.
And they haven't. They've done it through. Let me tell you something. You ever hear this? The antics you just step in doo-doo. They have had some really good managers for this team, and whoever their scouting department has been, and they haven't paid them very well, has really generated some fantastic baseball players. But you know what? Eventually, the water kind of runs out of that well. You're not going to continue to get those top prospects.
Agreed.
And I don't see.
But we're still Tampa Bay, Harry. We're still Tampa Bay. It's like we're paradise. We got palm trees and boats. You want to come here? We're going to pay competitive. There's no state income tax, and we can compete. So at the end of the day, this team has still been competitive year in and year out.
They're never going to be They're never going to be $100 million team. They're never going to be that. They're never going to be.
Not with Stu sweating about it.
No, when he sells the team.
Right.
You know, and I personally believe that that's going to happen. He's going to end up having to sell the team. But Peter, TJ, Tampa, I love you guys. The Greek has got to go. I'm on a pitch count tonight. And, TJ, I got to turn around. I got to get something to eat. Listen, man, I could sit here and talk with you for absolute hours. Ray, I mean, this is a lot of fun, guys. But I'll tell you what, let's just have some fun. Maybe next Wednesday, TJ, if you can commit for at least a half an hour, that would be great.
First of all, next Wednesday is Christmas night. I'm not quite sure that I will be available on Christmas
Santa Claus. He's already going to be delivering presents. Brother.
I'm just checking in on that. I'm doubtful. Check me as in the doubtful column on Christmas night.
Well, I'll be here, but I'll be closing optional.
Check me in on doubtful too, but I just wanted to say, hey man, if I don't get a chance to see you, TJ, Ray, I see you every single day. TJ, have a Merry Christmas. Peter, thank you. And as I always say before I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I have to book. Keep your bets low and your returns high. You really have a good night, gentlemen.
All right, good stuff there.
The drink is out of there. I got to be out of here shortly. Here's the bottom line, all right? Yes. I buy tickets to Rays games. I go all the time. I bought tickets to playoff games. You were with me
Yes.
We bought tickets to a playoff game.
Yes.
I've
for
seen
your
you at
birthday.
playoffs. I've seen you there,
Playoffs,
TJ.
Yes. So
Yes.
I want to see this situation succeed, and the hope is at this point, Major League Baseball has seen enough, especially with the whole situation with the minority owners of the Rays that were having to sue him for money that he had hidden from them in terms of profit sharing. This isn't the media making something up or fans making something up. These are his own partners saying, this is what we discovered. This is what's been going on. I think for the good of all involved, if Major League Baseball steps in and says, cash out, cash out 5-fold, 7-fold, 10-fold on what you paid for it, let somebody else have the headache and get the stadium built, that would be a best case scenario. Let's see if that's what happens. And it may happen very quickly. This may happen quicker than people want to accept and realize that it can happen. Let's see.
I'll accept it
right now. I want to say this. I want to use a TJ.
Please.
What he says. Go away. Go away. Don't ever come back. Don't ever talk about the fan base because you've been doing it for the last 10 to 15 years. Don't talk about how
I often go a step further and say, I will hold the door.
Yes.
Go.
Go.
Go and get out.
Go.
I will help you
away.
pack.
Yes.
I'm just saying metaphorically, whenever.
And here's the thing for me that upsets me the most. This organization, especially Stu, has always wanted the public, the Tampa Bay public, to fully invest in a new stadium, yet they fully never invest in their own team. And they're all about analytics and all. And I get it, Ray. They're competitive in 2014 and blah, 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 all that. But if you have to compete with Yankee and Red Sox fans, you have to start winning World Series championships. Furthermore, you allow Joe Madden to get out of here for $1.5 million. He goes to the Chicago Cubs and wins a World Series. On top of it, you allow Ben Zobrist to get out the door. You allow Wade Davis to get out the door. You allow David Price.
You watch Andrew Friedman go to the Dodgers and play by big league market rules, and look at how successful they've been, not just this season, but over the entire course of that, championship contending. So, yes, I mean, we all know what the answers are here.
Right.
Now let's see if Major League Baseball will step up and do something about it. It's going to be a wild time with the games in Tampa and the modified smaller capacity and the demand and all the craziness that's going to go on with that. And let's see what the next few months bring, because the whole stadium thing in Pinellas County is coming to a head shortly.
Yeah.
Because there's going to have to be a reckoning of, are you putting shovels in the ground and building the stadium or not? Your move, Rays, and you agreed to the cost overruns. And so the contract is the contract. Let's see what they want to do. Stay tuned. Final chapter's not written. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. One more final question here. It's from Dave Anglin. What's it like to work with Mean Gene Deckerhoff? You got some story?
He's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you a photo. Gene is always kind and gracious to do all of this. So one of my buddies is the overnight host on Fox Sports Radio, Big Ben Maller. Love Ben. Ben and I have only been around each other a couple of different times, and they've been at a Ram game in LA or a Charger game in LA. So Ben wanted to come say hello, and Gene was around, and we took the group photo right here at SoFi with the legend. And it's cool to be around him. It's amazing. The soundtrack of Buccaneer football, folks, since the late 1980s, every big moment, all the Hall of Fame players, Sapp, Brooks, Lynch, Barber, Tony Dungy as the coach, all the big moments, it's Gene on the call. So, and still, I mean, yesterday was the anniversary of the Michael Spurlock kickoff return, the first one ever, 17 years ago in 2007. Spurlock brought it back against who? The Atlanta Falcons. Ran right by me on the near sideline, down the sideline. It's one of the rare times that I took a couple of steps out and looked down to make sure, is he going to get there? And Gene with the iconic call in the middle of it. We could see history, and then run, Michael, run, for him to get in the end zone. It's phenomenal to still be around the Hall of Famer. And we look forward to him being in the Ring of Honor. And again, the soundtrack of Buccaneer football for the last 35 years and counting for the Bucs.
Love it. Good stuff. The media icon right there, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. We appreciate your time as it got
headed to Big D. Yeah, we were on for a while tonight. Headed to Big D. Let's see what happens with this coming up. I am a man of many hats back there, but I have much love for this community and from this area. And I even have on, by the way, tonight we had JV basketball going on with the Steinbrenner Lady Warriors, Steinbrenner High School. Riley and Abby Reeves were on the basketball court tonight. Okay. And I got to be a dad and go enjoy that with them running around and playing basketball. Much love, Peter Blake. Behave, be well. You texted me earlier and said, I need to be cheered up. And I said, I don't know what I can provide, but I'm going to come in here and we're going to kick it around on the sports web. And hopefully I gave you some tonight. And let's see if the Bucs give us all some on Sunday in Dallas. This is what it's all about, kids. Are you kidding me? Playing the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football with the playoffs on the line in December? Bring it on. This is what it's all about. Baker Mayfield at AT&T Stadium. Mike Evans, who's a Texas guy at AT&T Stadium. Go get him 6. Go get him 13. Let's talk about 5 straight wins. Let's see what happens.
Sounds good, my friend. And you know what? If Christmas is on Wednesday, we'll do a show on Monday. You want to come on Monday night? Victory
Let me see if we can make it work on Monday.
All right.
Hopefully talking about a Buccaneer win and talking about Santa. Santa doesn't come down the chimney in Florida. Santa has to have the magic key, like in our house, to come through the front door. You got to have the magic. Think about it now. Yep. Santa can't come down the chimney if there's no chimney. How does Santa get in the house? For the kids, it's the magic key that you have to leave him.
That's it.
So we got all these things we can go over next week, Christmas week. All right?
Absolutely, my friend. The media icon himself, Mr.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, buddy. See you soon, all right?
All right, my friend.
All right, good stuff there. Let's go ahead and go back out to Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Passionate Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. As we got plenty of comments. Travis Faley, I saw that you called in. Call back. Curtis, I saw that you called in. Dave, Sun Devil Dave, I saw that you called in. But listen, when you got TJ Reeves on there and he's trying to, throw you knowledge and also give you perspective on something that I just want to be honest, I've been saying for the last, 5, it seems like 10 years when we're talking about this stadium situation. With that being said, let's go out to one of our special correspondents who has a little bit of insight on this deal. Let's go out to Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television on a happy victory day here on the Sports Web. What's going on, boss?
Well, now that I might have some time by my lonesome, now that you got rid of all the stars of the show,
right?
Ray Kennedy, TJ,
no, I'm here, but those are Harry and TJ are the stars.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's highly debatable.
TJ, I'm kidding.
Debatable.
All right, so go ahead, Travis.
My question for you guys:
Yes,
shouldn't Brad Richards' number be retired by the Lightning?
Why not?
I mean, you would think, right? I mean, my wife and I were just talking about that. If you look at the current Lightning team, we're going to throw a little wrench in what's going on, what you guys are talking about.
Right.
Stamkos, guaranteed number retired. Victor, definitely a number retired. Cooch, definitely going to be retired. And obviously, what goes without saying, Big Cat will be retired. So that's 4 right there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So obviously, Vinny.
Is it Chris Gratton? I'm kidding. No, Chris Gratton. I'm kidding.
Hey, Gratton was a great player, but never a retired number.
Yeah.
Gratton was a franchise for like half a decade.
Well, there's scuttlebutt that on the net.
I'm kidding with you, Trap.
Andrew Chuck should be retired, but I don't think so. Dave was only really with us for 3 seasons, but
he had a classic bar right across the street from Amalie Arena there in the Channelside District.
Let me get to my point.
Yeah,
sorry, Trap.
Tampa Bay, Ray.
Hey, can you hit the mute button on that guy? Come on.
I'll mute me.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna send that guy that was out at Ferg's the other night harassing Pete over to your crib. How about that?
You should do that. Absolutely, please.
In a salmon shirt.
That guy was lit, man. That guy was lit like a candle. But anyways, let's get back to what we were saying. So what do you think, Pete? I think Brad Richards has got to be retired.
Well, I don't know why he's.
I don't know. Lightning don't win the cup without Brad.
Well, I agree with you on that. And, he's what did he had a MV? He had a, postseason was amazing for them. You're absolutely correct. He was the catalyst. So I don't know why he's not retired. I feel like the organization will take care of that and should take care of that. And Andrew Chuck.
He's in the Lightning Hall of Fame. I get that, but I still think his numbers should be hanging.
Should be. Why not? And I would say Dave Andrechuk is kind of a case of Tom Brady. A lot of people say Brady doesn't belong in the Ring of Honor because he was only here, 3-4 years? Yes, he does. You know why? Because of the impact he made on the franchise. The same could be said about Dave Anderchuk at the end of the day. The impact that he made on this franchise, the impact that he continues to make on this franchise, absolutely deserves.
Hey, Peter, I want to say I never said that Tom Brady didn't belong in the Ring of Honor. I said that we didn't deserve retiring number 12. And it wasn't because Doug Williams and Trent Dilfer wore it. It was because Tom Brady wore 12 for 20 years in New England. He came here. We deserve to have Tom Brady in that Ring of Honor because he was part of a special team in 2020, Super Bowl 55. But I want to make sure we understand that. I just said that they should never retire that number 12 because of Tom Brady, because that would be ridiculous.
I thought the rest of the NFL should do that. They should retire him.
No. Then Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach. I mean, you're talking about number 12 has been the most iconic quarterback number of all time.
Tom Brady has won more Super Bowls than both of those quarterbacks.
That's a true point, but you can't just retire number 12 across the league. It's not Jackie Robinson. It wasn't the first African American player to cross that barrier and break that barrier in Major League Baseball, which at the time for all of the world and all of America was a huge thing.
Right, it doesn't have to be a social issue.
Well, no, but number 12 is like the most iconic number. Even Fran Tarkenton wore number 12.
Retire the number in tribute to.
Not for Tom Brady. It will never happen.
He's
never happen.
Take the glasses.
It'll never happen.
Take the rosy Tom Brady glasses off. How about the Deflategate, Pete? How about the Deflategate?
Well, they can never.
That's not fair. That's not fair, Travis.
They never proved that, by the way. They never had any proof of that. At the end of the day,
Pete. Yeah, they didn't have any proof when he was getting rid of his phones. I mean, we got to have revisionist history. Hold on. Would you shut up for a second? Is this revisionist history?
No,
it's not. Revisionist history?
It's drunken history with me here. So
it's not revisionist history.
Because he won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Are you guys looking at this with pewter-colored glasses?
No, not at all. No. I'm just seeing the impact.
Ray and I are on the same page here.
Listen, I'm just saying from the impact. And Ray, you gotta mute that, man. I don't know what that is. We got to get that sound. That buzzing is killing me. You've got to give him his kudos. And for me, if the NFL truly wants to give a tribute to the greatest of all time, then you retire 12, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
So what happens? Do you retire if Mahomes wins 7 Super Bowls? Do you retire 15 also?
I mean, if at the end of the day he surpasses Tom Brady, I think there's certainly a conversation that can be had. I mean,
no, Pete, you can't do that across the league for a great quarterback because.
Hold on, the greatest hockey player that ever played,
Wayne Gretzky, 99, right? It's not retired.
His number's not retired.
I don't know why.
Because he wasn't. It wasn't that iconic. I mean, he was the best of all time, the greatest of all time. But you don't retire across the league.
You just said he was the greatest of all time. And
he was Gretzky.
Iconic.
But he wasn't. But he wasn't like he didn't. Jackie 42 is Jackie Robinson. I know you're not debating that.
I'm not going to.
But I'm saying the Buccaneers number 12. You don't take away Doug Williams or Todd Milanovic or Trent Dilfer because Tom Brady came here for 3 years because he realized it was the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl and he came here and got it. We appreciate that, but you don't retire 12 for that.
You do it across the league. That has been always my point. It's not just the Bucs. Okay. It's for the league. That's what I've said. I've said that from the very beginning. It is a tribute to the greatest of all time. And Tom Brady deserves to be.
Even as you talk about the fact that Patrick Mahomes may become the next baby GOAT, we're going to retire 12 and we'll wait on 15 till 2025. Wait
till you cross that bridge first, guys, before you get to the Mahomes conversation. But here's what I know. I know Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. I know he's won 7 Super Bowls. I also understand the Deflategate and all that other stuff. But really, at the end of the day, do we think Deflategate really had, like, if you're going to compare Deflategate to like baseball players taking steroids,
it goes to iconic impact across not just the sport, but the entire society. And that's what we did with Jackie Robinson in 42. They retired it. Trust me, Peter, I can guarantee you right now, even if they retire it, there's never going to be a game ever in the National Football League where they wear number 12 across the league, all 53, in honor of Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time, but it's not that iconic. It's not as iconic as Jackie Robinson, and that's all I'll say. I'll agree. I won't disagree with you, Pete, but I'll say I agree to agree with me.
And somebody said you got your crazy eyes going tonight because I'm trying to let everybody know that this is how I feel about, with the Rays situation and everything else. And it, with the Rays and also with Tom Brady, I feel a certain different way. So, all right.
Yeah,
So
I love you for it.
Travis, what else?
Hold on a second here.
Travis, you can't check up. You got to come strong. Keep coming.
I was looking for some stats. Settle down. Wasn't Spygate in 2000? Wasn't Spygate in 2007 also when Brady was?
Was that on Brady or was that on Belichick?
I don't care.
That's a good point, Pete.
But I mean, is that on Tom Brady or is that on Bill Belichick?
It was a culture. It was a culture, and that brings us back to was it the coach or was it the quarterback?
So we're going to sit here and say because of Spygate and because of that you're going to lessen the Super Bowls at the end?
No, I'm just never going to say. You're never going to retire 12 across the league because of Tom Brady, and especially if you're taking into account his performance on Fox in 2024 as an analyst. I'm kidding. He's getting better. He's getting better. He's worth 37. He's 37.5 million a year. He gets paid. He's kind of worth 17.8 now.
Hey, I'm saying from the standpoint of impact to the league as the league goes. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Do we all agree with that right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not going to retire 12 from the Buccaneers because he was the greatest quarterback.
Why
it's
not?
Not going to happen, even though he played here. Because because you can't take historical Doug Williams and a Trent Dilfer and say, look, because Tom Brady was the greatest in the league, all 32 teams are retiring number 12.
Are you
by Terry Bradshaw, by
Doug Williams, but you're really equating.
No, by Terry Bradshaw, by Roger Staubach, by Fran Tarkenton, by
Trent Dilfer.
Hold on.
I'm not going to make a Trent Dilfer argument.
Are we now going to say that they should retire like Larry Newton or other players that have won 4, 5 Super Bowls? I mean, I'm hate
just
this
saying
topic
the
now.
impact. I mean, do we think
it's your fault, Travis?
Do we think that
It
Jordan?
was my fault. Let's talk about the stadium.
Well, let's go. Well, wait a minute. Let's go out to what Dave Ruffalo said here. The Sun Devil Dave himself, big Arizona State fan. He says, "Let's retire Jordan 23 across the NBA." Do we agree?
Now there you go.
Why? No. Why is it different from Jordan?
Because Jordan's better than LeBron. That's not even a question. Jordan's the greatest of all time.
Okay.
I'm kidding, but
the impact of Jordan to the league of the NBA, could we equate that to the impact of Tom Brady to the NFL?
100%. Yes.
Okay. So there you go. And then everybody will say, well, what about Jordan? Well, Jordan didn't.
Well, when did the NBA retire 23 across all teams?
They haven't, but
they won't. They won't because he's the greatest of all time. He's better than LeBron, but they're not going to retire 23 because he was the greatest. He's got to make an impact
of all time. Did you just say he made an impact to the league?
He did, but I mean, they haven't retired 23. Even Chicago hasn't retired 23 officially, have they?
They should all across the.
I don't know if they have.
They should retire 23.
They have. Well, you would know, Travis, because you're a Chicago guy.
All right,
I'm kidding. I love you, Travis.
Are you now saying that they should retire 23?
Yes. Across the league, absolutely. Salute to Michael Jordan. Absolutely. Why not? Why not?
Because
impact that he made on the league.
Gambling allegations.
I mean, but it's you don't know. You don't. This is an allegation. Like you know about Bonds. You know about those players in Major League Baseball.
Why do I feel like this is going to lead into a Pete Rose conversation at some point?
I mean,
my God.
Does Pete Rose belong in the Hall of Fame?
We're not talking about this.
Why?
I'm not getting into this conversation.
Hot takes with Travis Bailey of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. This is what we do. Yes.
You guys were talking about the stadium. I'm going to make this quick.
Go for it.
The night of the Tyson Jake Paul fight, we talked about this. We knew we had some inside information and knew exactly what was going on with this stadium deal and why it was put together with help from the mayor and his team. Because there's a lot of grease going on, my friends, a lot of grease. And the fact that the mayor went and reduced the insurance is one of the main reasons why the stadium situation is the way it is, because he reduced the insurance by 75%. And, it's now costing $50 million plus to fix the roof. Plus, he gave them such a sweetheart deal when so many people said, don't put the land separate from the stadium and from the team. It's ridiculous. Put a ton of blame on the mayor. And I tell you what, when this whole thing shakes out, just like the stadium down in South Florida with the Marlins, there's going to be a lot of heads rolling because people are going to get in a lot of trouble, not only from a legal standpoint or from a criminal standpoint, because I believe, and this is my opinion, that there was a lot of back doors open and a lot of palms greased with this whole deal.
Of course,
and
there
it's because of his people. And this is, anyways, that's my point. And we talked about this specifically before all this other stuff even shook out with the stadium. So let's just hope that they force him to sell the team. I don't see it happening. But once again, guys, you continue to blame this ownership. And I understand that. I get it. I know this ownership group is awful, especially with waving the white flag and all that. But once again, until this community, which it hasn't, supports this team by putting their asses in the seats, which they didn't after they went to the World Series. They didn't do that then, and they don't do it now. So the best move is for this stadium deal not to happen in St. Pete, and it goes over in Ybor, over where the flower plant used to be in Tampa. If you don't do it that way, if they put it over by the amphitheater, people are still not going to go to the games. It's still too far. I don't care what anybody says. This community is not a baseball team supporting community, no matter what you or Ray says, because we know it and we see it because of the lack of people in the stands. Do they watch on TV? Yeah, but that's not generating revenue for the team and the ownership group.
Why do they watch on TV?
And that's what it's all about.
Why do they watch on TV?
Because they don't go to the games.
Why don't they go to the games? Why do they stay at home and watch the games? If they didn't support the team, why do they stay at home and watch the games?
They don't support the team.
Why don't they?
You don't support, Pete. If you watch the games on TV, yes. Are you watching the games? Yeah, but you're not going to the stadium.
They don't support the owner because the owner continues to talk about this fan base over and over again. There's not another professional owner in professional sports that does what he's done the last 10 to 15 years.
You want to look at one? I'll take a look at one right over by downtown Chicago.
Okay. Did Jerry Reinsdorf?
Look at what Reinsdorf.
Did Jerry Reinsdorf wait a minute? Did Jerry Reinsdorf or McCaskey's ever talk about how bad their fan base is because they don't support their multi-million-dollar hobby because it's not. He doesn't love it. It's a business. That's all he cares about. It's basically he doesn't care about the fans of baseball. But do they have those owners said specifically that if we don't get our new stadium, we're out of here? We're gone.
I was on mute. Okay, now first of all,
hold on.
Go ahead.
No. Ray, the sound is killing me, bro. It's
it's not that bad. It's not me.
It's buzzing. It's not good. I don't like it. Listen, there's never been Jerry Reinsdorf, McCaskey has never talked about their fan base not coming out and supporting him. Maybe they're bad owners. I get that. But when you have an owner who consistently the last 10 to 15 years has come out and said, we can't sustain, we need a new stadium, we need this. And then on top of it, he admits that he's a Mets fan. You heard TJ Reeves say, this guy's a Mets fan. He is a Mets fan.
Yeah.
Okay. That right there has built up over the years. That's the reason why this fan base stays at home and watches them. Furthermore, look at the economy. Look at the dump that the economy has taken. Look at people struggling to pay rent. Look at people struggling to put gas in their car.
Pete, give me a break.
Why not?
Well, Peter, now I muted me, but let me stop for a minute. The only people I hear complaining about the attendance are the assholes in Hillsborough County that want the stadium built over there in a better geographical area. They're not the ones that agree with the fact that Rick Dodge and the city of St. Petersburg in '98 said all the team has to do is be here in 2027 and we'll build you. And not only will we build you a new stadium, we'll give you half of the development rights. So I get that. But Stu Sternberg, Stu Sternberg never complained about the fans. That's the media. That's everybody talking about. That's the national media saying they only average 8,000 fans, and guess what? They're averaging 13 to 20,000 fans in 2024.
You are wrong. You are.
No, I'm not wrong. They're averaging 13 to 20,000 fans in 2024. That's the national media saying they're still the lowest attendance. Stu's not complaining. Stu's making check. Stu's getting paid with the luxury tax.
Ray, I get it.
Complain?
Ray, I get it. You're a fan of this race.
I'm not a fan. I'm saying Stu's never complained about attendance. That's the national. That's the Tampa narrative.
No, it's not.
It fucking 100% is, Pete.
Okay, you're out of here.
100%.
You can't be cursing. No, you can't be doing that. Sorry. No, you ain't doing that. We ain't going to curse. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that garbage. We ain't doing that. Sorry. You're not going to curse at me and say F this and F that. Because I can go back and I can look at the comments that Stu Sternberg has said to the public. Whether he's talking to politicians or not, he has always downed this fan base. Ask the fans. I guarantee you right now, if I open up the phone lines right now to Rays fans, you're watching this broadcast, what's the reason why you don't support this team? And more times than not, 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, fans are going to say, you know what? I don't support them because of Stu. That's the reason why. Because of getting rid of fan favorites, because of talking over and over again about not sustaining. You cannot draw a fan base that is struggling with financial difficulties and paying rent and putting gas in their car and doing this and doing that.
But they weren't going to the games before the pandemic, and even when they were going to the playoffs, the years after, they were averaging low numbers. It's bottom 3 in the league. So I mean, we've talked about this numerous times.
But it continues to be glossed over with people saying, well, the Tampa Bay public, the Tampa Bay sports fan is not a baseball fan. I wouldn't be a baseball fan either. Imagine if Jeff Vinnick tried to pull some of the stuff that Stu has done over the years. Do you think that the Tampa Bay Lightning would be supported?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the Glazers pulling this kind of nonsense would be supported?
Well, it's a little bit different, okay, because the hockey fans have been supportive even through the lean years. I mean, they were still averaging about 9,500 to 10,000 in a 19.5 stadium, even through the down years. Football fans are always going to go out to the games. It might be some empty seats, but they're two different animals. Hockey's more of a niche overall sport, especially in this community. But baseball, there are so many people here from transplants from different areas that and you're right. Do they want to support Stu? No, but if you're a baseball fan, you're going to go to the games. If you're a fan of this team, you're going to go to the games.
Right.
But this.
But listen, you're used to the fan base, right? You're used to.
I've been here for 35.
You're
I've
used
been here
to
for
filet,
35
okay,
years.
and you're used to filet mignon, like a lot of fans. They're used to Jeff Vinnick and the Tampa Bay Lightning, which are an extremely outstanding organization. Ranked by ESPN.
But I was also here during the Oren Coolish years.
And what was the difference? What was the difference? Did they get support back then? No, they didn't.
They didn't know. They didn't know what. Yes, they did, but they didn't know what they were getting. The ownership groups didn't know what they were getting.
But the point is that if the fans are used to the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and putting all their effort into going and winning a Super Bowl, if they're used to them going and winning a Stanley Cup, multiple Stanley Cups, why would they support an owner who not only browbeats them every chance he gets, but also does less than any other owner in this market? We're not even talking about national. We're talking about in this own Tampa Bay sports market. Why would you support him in the first place? I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to save my money. I'm not going to pay for expensive tickets, especially when I want to go see the Yankee fans. You know why? Because most of them are going to be Yankee fans. The majority is going to be Yankee fans. The majority is going to be Red Sox fans. That's just the way it is because Stu has created that. He has created that. Ownership is great. So you can sit here and say, all day long, and I'll take more phone calls. We'll get Travis off. I promise.
Yeah,
this is a heated debate. And it's going to be a heated debate. But for me, everybody glosses over the fact that there has only been one team since 2003 that has had less than a 15th ranked payroll that has won a World Series. Guess who that was? The Florida Marlins. For a team that is so attracted to the analytics and the numbers, they keep on glossing over this. This team will never spend 15th or above, but they will tell you, the blue-collar person, the blue-collar Tampa Bay sports fan, that you should invest billions and billions of dollars in a stadium where they won't even invest in their own product. And I'm used to Jeff Vinnick. I'm used to filet mignon. I'm not going for McDonald's cheeseburgers. I'm used to the Glazers with Tom Brady and trying to win a Super Bowl. This is the reason. I don't care if you put this in El Segundo. If you have an ownership the way you have with the Tampa Bay Rays, you will get no support. And the people out there, I love Tampa Bay Ray, but you continue, well, their most competitive team. Oh, it's a great story because they don't spend money. I don't give a damn, okay? This is a superhero movie to me over and over again. Finish the damn story. Go out and win a World Series. If you don't want to win a World Series and you don't have the money to pay for the team, sell the damn team to somebody else. But there has never been an owner in all professional sports that has done what Stu has done. And this is the reason why. National media won't talk about it. ESPN won't talk about it. Fox Sports won't talk about it. Barstool Sports won't talk about it. But I will definitely talk about it here on The Evolution. Go ahead.
I think Barstool Sports will definitely talk about it, but no, you just made a real strong point, Pete, and I appreciate that. And I can see your point of view, especially you're a very passionate fan when it comes to the Rays. So I definitely see your point, but I'd like to see it change, but I'd rather have him sell the team, just like I wish they would sell the Bulls and I wish they would sell the Bears.
Thank
but that's
you.
a whole nother story.
Thank you.
But I'll tell you what. I watched that Buck game. I watched every play in the Buck game on against the Chargers, and I was really, really impressed. But I'll let you guys go. So I know you got other callers, and I just want to say thanks for taking my call. And this was basically a hockey call, but you guys all flipped the script to this damn Tom Brady situation. But we can talk like me hockey after football season.
Oh, man, we're talking hockey. We should be talking more about the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the reason why we're talking about the Bucs is because, predominantly we talk Bucs football. But the reason why we talk Bucs football is because a lot of the Bucs fans don't have anything bad to say about the Glazers, can't say anything bad about the Glazers. Why? Because they have made a commitment to win. The same thing could be said about the Tampa Bay Lightning and Jeff Finnick. They have made a commitment to win. Fans know that. They continue to know that. Those ownerships endear themselves to the fans. I am a fan of the Rays, but it is tough to be a fan of the Rays. I'm more of a fan of the Tampa Bay sports fan. I like the little guy. I like the underdog. We're the underdogs. This Rays team could win multiple World Series championships if their owner gave a damn. If he wanted to invest in this team as much as he wanted the community of St. Pete, Pinellas County, Tampa Bay area to invest in this stupid stadium deal.
Well, I'm glad you said you like the little guy and not little guys, because then that would have changed the whole scope of this phone call.
All right, man. I love you, brother.
By the way,
yes.
I'll let you go. I'm actually just started watching Billy Corgan's Adventure in Kearneyland, something that I'm sure you would love.
All right, man. Sounds good, brother. I appreciate you as always. Good stuff there. Hot takes with Travis.
Ooh, yeah.
Thanks a lot for the call, man. I appreciate you.
You got it, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. And I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Ray, I know you get passionate about it. I appreciate that. But, just F this and that. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Come on, bro. All right. Sun Double Dave, go ahead.
Oh, yes.
What's up, man?
Great job, bud.
Yeah, great job. I continue to say this, and I'm putting it out there right now on this damn show. Why don't you support the Rays? Hold on a second here.
No.
Curtis, I'm going to put you on hold because I think you got an answer for me on why the public doesn't support the Rays. But Dave, I'm going to go back to Dave. Hold the line, okay?
What do you think?
All right. Let's go back out to Sun Devil Dave. You've been in the Tampa Bay area. How come you don't go to more Rays games? But is it money? What is it? Is it the ownership? Let me ask you something. If you go to a steak restaurant and they promise you something, and and they say, you know what, seniors, you're not showing up. We're not going to give you that anymore. Are you showing up to that steak restaurant anymore?
No, I mean, I think a lot is because of the fact that the Rays, where they're located in St. Pete, the drive, the distance, the stadium itself, I mean, it's pretty horrible. I know that Bert Blyleven came out and says we need to blow this thing up back in 2020, and I think it's just a combination of things, like you said, the Rays ownership, the way Stu treats the fans. He doesn't commit to putting a winning team as far as millions of dollars, like $100 million.
Correct.
$150 million
Correct.
Right.
This team has never been in the top 15. Never in the top 15 of spending. Guess what? The magic number is, and I think you put it out there in the Astros, but I don't think that necessarily counts because they were over.
They cheated.
Well, yeah, that. But again, there has not been a team since the Florida Marlins with 26. Like, you're not going to win anything. Like, every year people go, well, the Rays, they spend less money in Major League Baseball. What a great story it is. I don't give a damn about that freaking story because it's over.
I agree.
They're cheap. They have collected money over and over and over again from the big market teams, and the national media, you mouth-breathing son of a guns, continue to bash this Tampa Bay sports public, Tampa Bay sports fan, how they don't support this team. And you don't look at all the facts. And right now, I've got Sun Devil Dave, who is from Tampa, telling you the reason why he doesn't support the Rays. You know why? Because of the ownership. It sucks.
But I am going to probably go to more games now since they're only 6 miles away in Steinbrenner Field.
Right.
So I'm probably going to end up going to games, not as, at least maybe 10 to 15 over the summer. And of course, early because it's going to be nice weather. And possibly because of the distance. I don't have, the great car like you have, the Tesla, to drive around in and a Rolex. But basically, I think it really boils down to, until, like you said, that those shovels are in the ground in whatever it is, 2025, 2026, when we start doing it, I still don't trust him, because he's still complaining about the cost overruns. He says he's not going to pay 1 red cent for that.
Right. And I
want to come to resolution.
I want to read these comments, and I want to get out to more phone calls, because I definitely I want an answer to this question, and I'll stay up all friggin' night long in order to get these answers from Rays fans of why they don't support this team. I want to know why, what's mostly the reason why, but this is what they had to say. This was from, let me see here. I believe this is from Silverman. It was unsurprising to see the commissioners acknowledge how important the Tampa Bay Rays and our stadium develop agreement are to this community and its citizens. As we have made it clear, the county's delay has caused the ballpark's completion to slide into 2029. As a result, the cost of the project has increased significantly, and we cannot absorb the increase alone. When the county and city wish to engage, we remain ready to solve this funding gap together. You know what I have to say to the Rays, and this is where the commissioner has to step in: either pay the cost of the overruns or sell the team, because you are so tone deaf to this whole possibility of, I don't know, people have gone through 2 catastrophic hurricanes with flooding, and the county doesn't have all these, all this money to provide. They don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and all the people we talked about at left, whether it was, go back to Price and Longoria, even like Morton's, even Paredes that just left. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people that they let go because of the fact they couldn't afford to keep them.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. And then he actually, remember, he had a fire sale last summer because he was going to sell the team and it fell through at the last minute.
Yep.
And then he got rid of, that's why Paredes, those are the guys left. I'm like, why are they selling the team? They're only like 2 or 3 games out of the wild card. And they were selling all these top-notch players and they're letting them go. And again, he has no commitment to put a solid team, as far as, like I said, they win in spite of him. Remember one of your guests said that?
Yep.
Because he's like, oh, look how great this is. He has no commitment of spending the money to make it competitive. They just work it out because they've got great agents. They have people. They have great talent scouts. They find undervalued players at the right time, whether it was a Rosarena, and the list could go on, and they catch lightning in a bottle. And that's how they do it. So
that's how they do it. All right.
Anyways, real quick, that the Devils, go Devils,
my friend, go Devils. All right, I know.
Devils,
I gotta get your music on. We'll get your music on when you call back. Use that second call if you want to. All right, Dave.
You take care, bud.
All right,
God
man.
Bless.
Appreciate you. All right. That's the question for the night. Not just what you would want to get the Bucs for Christmas, because that started out. That was the whole deal. But if you're a Rays fan, why don't you support this team? Is it because of what I'm saying, or am I in the twilight zone? Because when an owner continues, and these comments right here, this right here, these comments right here, this is the reason. Like, I want you to understand ESPN. I want you to understand Fox Sports. This is the reason why you don't have the fan support in the Tampa Bay area. This right here. This tone deafness. How many times? How many years? How many years has Stu come out and badmouthed the fan base? How many years? Over and over again. Think about it. You have a dog. You kick him in the teeth. You keep on kicking him in the teeth. What happens? It comes back to bite you. Right? That's maybe why the fans are staying away. Maybe. I mean, again, the economy is terrible. Why am I going to spend the money with an owner who tells me every year, oh, I can't spend money. I can't invest in it, but I want you to invest in the stadium and the $1 billion stadium. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Peter, Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, buddy?
Well, the Bucs, fan base, we're doing pretty good right now. Rays fan base, unfortunately, we got a buzzer owner who.
Why don't you support the Rays? Is it the owner? Is that the reason why you don't go out to 81 games a year? Is it because of the owner? Tell me the truth. Tell him, Jeremy.
Financially, as a single father of 2 daughters, it's hard for me to make it all the way out to St. Pete, which is 20 minutes away from me. And the amount of money they charge inside the Tropicana Field itself, that's why I don't go. I'd rather stay home. I'll be supportive from away, regardless of what Rays fans, Tampa Ray, I know whatever his feelings are, whatever. At the end of the day, financially, it's impossible to go to so many games. I went to 2 games this past season. 2. Mind you, Peter, I went to Chicago to the White Sox game in support of this baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And the players itself were not happy in the organization.
Right.
That's the real truth. Why don't you ask the players if they're really happy or not? Yeah, they're getting paid their little, chump change, whatever. That's fine. But like you mentioned earlier, until you spend money on real players, which we know this owner will not do.
Yep.
Because he's a businessman and he wants to get this money and run.
Do you care about if Stu Sternberg is a multimillionaire? Do you care about that?
Man, fuck him. He's made his money. No disrespect. My apologies.
That's all right. That's all right.
But at the end of the day, I watch GP Peterson's show. You know that. And my answer is until he sells this team, we're not winning a World Series. We're not even getting a stadium deal. So hopefully the commissioner of baseball, Manfred, is his name right? Correct?
Manfred, yes.
Thank you. If he gets involved and really presses him, sell the team or get a stadium, let's end this already. Get it done. I get it, Stu. You want to make your money. You're a businessman. That's fine. But if you really do care about the fan base, like some owners do, then sell a team to a local owner. We got plenty of locals here in Tampa because we're coming up. You know that.
Yeah.
We're coming up.
Sure.
Sell the team, call it quits, make your money, and then go try to buy the Mets later on. The so-called Mets fan. That's my opinion on the Rays. In the meantime, as far as Bucs and Lightning, we're in good shape. We got 2 good owners. Hopefully, the Rays will get back on track. If not, then hey, I got my Bucs, I got my Lightning. I'm going to keep rooting for them. But yeah, Peter, I'll tell you this. I'll pay more money to go to a Lightning game than I would to a Rays game. How about that?
Why is that?
Because they care about winning.
There you go.
They bring the talent.
There you go.
Upset.
There you go.
I mean, we sacrificed Stamkos to go to another team, bringing Gensel, and look how good they're doing right now. Look how good they're doing.
Because they got a clue. Because they know what they're doing. They care about the fans. They care about not only winning, they care about doing good business, but they care about the fans. And they know at the end of the day that good business is doing right by the fan. That's what it's about. That's the reason why you're drawing. That's the reason why you've dared yourself to Tampa Bay sports fan. That's what it's all about. Jeremy, thanks a lot for the call. Anything else, my friend?
I will say this one thing. As a Bucs fan, we went through a lot of terrible times from 2009 all the way to 2020.
Correct.
I was a loyal fan for a long time. You know why? Because the Glazers took chances. Look at Deshaun Jackson. They took chances on players.
Vincent Jackson, Deshaun Jackson. They went out in free agency. Maybe it didn't necessarily work out, but they made some commitment to spend. They made a commitment to win. That's what the Rays have never done. Wake me up when this team is over $100 million, okay? Wake me up when that happens, because it's never going to happen if this current ownership. It's almost like Jerry Jones owns the Tampa Bay Rays. They will never win a World Series with this current ownership and their cheap ways. Never.
No, I agree, Peter, 100%. And not taking away from Tampa Ray, because I know he can, in his things about the Rays. I get it. I respect him on that. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. Until the ownership sells this team, we will never win a World Series with this guy running this baseball team. That's all I got to say about when it comes to the Rays.
All right, man. Appreciate the call as always. Thanks a lot. Let me go back out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where you're calling from? Why don't you support the Rays?
Because I think their ownership is fucking terrible.
And this would be Sarah, right?
Yes, I'm homegrown in the SRQ for sure.
So you think if the Rays had the ownership that you would have with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, that you would actually support this team? Is that correct?
Probably way more, yes. But the thing is that someone hit it on the nose before. We come from a whole entire state of transplants.
Okay.
So the Tampa Bay Rays bring in like so much commission already off of like other teams that they feel it's scummy. It's scummy as hell, but I'm going to say it out loud. They feel like they don't have to like outperform or outdo anything because the players are going to do it for themselves and speak justice. And they've done it before.
They have. They absolutely have done it with the low payroll. And again, I give them credit, but I always say this, the story is, well, they do it with the low payroll. Imagine if they just added just a little bit to that payroll. How many World Series? Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Give them a tip.
Just a little
Hey,
bit.
did you get the rollie?
Oh, yeah, of course. Right there.
Nice.
Yes,
That's solid.
I got it. I got it.
I can't see you on
yes,
my two different devices.
I appreciate you, Sarah. Yeah, I got the Rollie. I definitely got the Rolex. I always wear it because, for me, it's a symbol of, everything we do here on the sports web and everything that a lot of people should aspire to be. And that is that you don't necessarily have to work for one of those national networks in order to get notoriety, if you will. Sarah?
Listen, you give back to the community and you do so much for our sports and everything, like all the things, Peter. I've seen you so many times since I've joined the sports web and I'm super grateful for it. The thing that we should be talking about is that our dude, Baker Mayfield, got player of the week this week, and as he should be. Let's go. We're getting hot right at the right time, and it's going the distance.
Absolutely
it's
correct
going
about
for
that.
Speed.
Yep. I love the cake. I love the cake song there. I knew that reference. So very good. Going the distance there from Cake. That is a great song. And absolutely.
And we're going, dude.
Yes.
We're doing it. We're
Yes.
going to do it. If you think about so my family came up to me and was like, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And I was like, what if you can just focus on the next 3 wins? And then we can focus on whatever you want. I want to have a day off. Okay. Let us lock it up and we can have a day off and just
Well, Mayfield, 22 for 27, 288, 4 touchdowns, and, of course, the 1 interception. But he has definitely 32 touchdowns this year. Sarah, you definitely deserved the NFC Player of the Week. Appreciate the call, sweetheart.
I think that he deserves it for, MVP. He's in the running for MVP.
You could definitely make the case because if you don't have Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, more than likely you're a 2 or 3 win Bucs team.
I bet. I mean, those other games though, we shouldn't have lost those games. We went into overtime. What was it? 2 times where we lost a coin toss, and it was all just on the plays and the rules of the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't think that is actually. I don't think that you can put that past that. You can put that against us.
Yeah.
Honestly, as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, that just pisses us off even more.
That's it.
And Baker was made to be a Buccaneer. Let's just throw that out there. He's got the swag. He loves a chip on his shoulder. And so does everybody else. Come at me. That's what everybody is saying right now.
Love it. Good.
Keep stacking.
That's it. Keep stacking those wins. Sarah, appreciate the support and the call. Use that second call if you like to. Okay, my friend?
Hey, love you, Peter. Keep doing what you do. Love the sports web. On point for sure.
Absolutely.
So glad you got that Rollie. You deserve that shit because you are here for the masses, dude. Love it.
I'm here, and I'm here for the Tampa Bay sports fan like her. Like her. I will tell you like it is. There used to be a sports broadcaster in this town who would say after reading these comments, bull spit. That's how upset and pissed off I was when I read these comments today. That's how fired up I was. There is something that it does to me. I can't describe it because, like you, I am a Tampa Bay sports fan. I want to see the Rays succeed. I want to see the Lightning succeed. I want to see the Bucs succeed. But if you have this current ownership, you're not going anywhere. Let me go out to Ed. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. Why don't you support the Rays?
Oh, where do I start?
Go for it. Start it off for me. Come on.
Okay. They went and got one of my favorite players. I can't remember. This was back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The Crime Dog.
Yes.
I remember him. He was like my favorite player of all time. He played for the Atlanta Braves for a while, and then he ended up on the Rays at the end of his career.
Correct.
And then after 1 year, they got rid of him.
So you're saying that you like fan favorites, and this Rays team, they interchange players every couple years, so that doesn't draw you. That doesn't make you want to go out and support this team.
It's hard to be a fan for a team like that.
Right, right, exactly, because you don't know the names on the jerseys. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What's another reason?
The other reason is they just, again, it's back to the same thing. They won't put money into the team. They won't do anything to help their aging stadium. They want everybody to pay for it except for him. He's probably got almost Donald Trump money. And this guy doesn't want to, he wants the city in the area to pay for his stadium.
Right.
So he can make money off of it.
And he talks about you after you and the area.
That's
right.
Last but not least.
Yes.
He trashes the fan base.
Does that make you want to go out there? Does it? Yeah, because
I don't want to make him any money.
Correct. So you want to stay at home, right? You want to save your money, correct?
I do watch the Rays on occasion at home, but I'm not gonna buy any tickets.
No. Why? Because of the owner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If they had a new owner, would you go out there and support the Rays? How many games do you think you would go to?
I probably would try to go to as many games as possible, but I live in Daytona now, so it would be hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you would try to do it, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
You would try to go to Bucs games because you know that the Glazers are have your best interest.
I had season tickets for years.
Right.
For the Bucs,
Right.
And let me tell you something. We had a problem back in the 70s and 80s. We were the worst team ever. And I was a fan. And I was still a fan. I was a kid. So it's different when you're a kid, you know. Your kids don't really, you know, it's just like you could do anything, you know, kids, you know, it's just like you're never going to be mad along with your parents, you know, when you're a kid.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
So anyways, me and my dad had season tickets and he would take us every Sunday to see the Bucs game.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I was there for the year. They went 0-16. And then the following year, they didn't do much better. And then finally, they drafted a great quarterback by the name of Doug Williams. And they got better.
Mm-hmm.
I remember their first game, like it was, and I'm gonna bring up a name. Their quarterback was Steve Spurrier.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And yeah, it was great. It was wonderful, but he was not that good of a quarterback.
Now you supported the Bucs even with Hugh Culverhouse there because you're a football fan, but
that's right.
Right. But later on, you wouldn't support them because if they had an owner like Stu Sternberg, is that what you're saying?
No, thank God they got rid of Hugh Culverhouse.
Right.
Okay. Thank God.
By the way, another reason out there, Tampa Bay sports fan, and people go, well, there's a lot of Bucs fans that supported Hugh Culverhouse. Yeah, they've been through the trauma of a terrible owner. They got two guys here that are great owners in the Tampa Bay public right now, in the Tampa Bay community. Why would they support a guy that's like Hugh Culverhouse, which a lot of people would say Stu Culverhouse? So why would they support that guy?
And I'll tell you how much I love how much I love the Lightning. I pay to watch them on TV because I love them so much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
because you believe, right?
Because I love them.
You believe,
franchise.
you have hope.
It's probably one of the best professional sports franchises in history.
There you go. There you
Why
go.
would you?
There you go. Let the truth set you free. What else, Ed?
I just want to say that I've been able to watch. I watched part of that game the other day, and it was amazing how they just took apart a good defense. I'll tell you what, I was thinking when they lost Godwin that there's no way that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but that game, I think they could win a Super Bowl.
I think they can too. I think they can too. And I've been saying that with this offense. I definitely think they're a contender. I think, listen, they have to fix some things defensively. They have to get more pass rush consistently. But for me, they just got to get healthy. You know, I threw that out there tonight. I threw that question. I'm going to throw that question out there next week on Monday when we go live again, because we're going to go live. It's going to be a Victory Monday. And I'm going to ask the question, if you have a Christmas present that you would give the Bucs, what would it be? It would be health for me, because I feel like if you can get healthy with the Winfield Jr. and with the Jordan Whitehead, that you're going to be better off. But right now, the thing that's hurt this team, because they should have beat the Atlanta Falcons 2 games. They could have beat the Kansas City Chiefs there. They played them tough. They've beaten the Lions. They've beaten the Eagles. Why not? Why can't the Bucs go on a roll here? Why can't their offense lead them with that running game? Why can't that defense play just good enough with Todd Bowles and that experience factor for them to win a Super Bowl? Why not? Why not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2024? Why not?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. And another thing I got to say is Godwin, I better find a way to stay healthy, because this guy, Jalen McMillan, is starting to look like a superstar.
He is. He's starting to look. He's starting to look. I still think they're going to be committed to Godwin. The price won't be as high as it was before he got hurt, because he was leading the NFL with receptions. But I definitely think he has an opportunity to get some money. And I think Jason Light, I believe in this organization, that they're due right, and that they will sign the players that they want to keep on this team going forward, that will help them win games, that will give them the best opportunity to win. And if you're trying to tell me that Chris Godwin, even with him being hurt, that he's not still one of the top wide receivers in the league, I've got oceanfront property in Arizona, if you believe that. Chris Godwin is definitely a top wide receiver in this league, and Jason Light will take care of that.
Don't get me wrong. I love Chris Godwin the depth, but if he comes at us asking for a lot of money after having 2 years off for injuries, he's gonna be kicking rocks.
Agree.
That's all I gotta say.
Well, I think again they'll have the opportunity to sign Chris Godwin. I think he'll, if you're Chris Godwin, would you want to leave Mike Evans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Would you want to leave this offense? I don't see it happening. Ed, appreciate the call as always, my friend. Use that second one if you want. Appreciate you. Let me go out to Curtis here, because he wanted to call in. He wanted to chime in. I want to make sure we get all these calls. I'm going to read these comments. But my question for the night, because it's reverted to Rays talk. We could still talk Bucs if you want to, because that's what we do on this show. Why don't you support the Rays?
What's up, brother?
Why don't you support the Rays besides you being a Red Sox fan? If you're a Rays fan, why wouldn't you support the Rays? Is it ownership for you, Curtis?
Can I give you one? I'm gonna give you one very simple phrase.
Go for it.
Our ownership is a dumpster fire.
Okay.
Straight like that.
Right. Dumpster fire.
Listen,
right.
Just like the other gentleman, I'm a single dad. I got 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know how expensive it is to go to a game, 5 tickets, something to eat. And I'm sorry, but the parking in the stadium, getting around there, it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's awful.
It's terrible.
This is a single father, ladies and gentlemen, that is telling you the truth of why he doesn't go to Rays games. And then on top of it, you've got a guy who's a multimillionaire who's done nothing but tell you the last 10 to 15 years that because you don't go to 81 games every year, that you're the biggest scum on the earth. Just paraphrasing, just throwing it out there.
Well,
right?
Well, if he wants to see scum, all he has to do is look in the mirror.
There you go.
So I mean, it's sad. It's ridiculous, because guess what? You can have a good team or whatever you want to, but people. I'm sorry. Let's say this. I am a Red Sox fan. Huge Red Sox fan.
Sure.
But the economies in Boston and New York are way better than they are in Florida.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Their minimum wage is better. Everything's better.
Right.
People can't afford to go to those games and spend their hard-earned good money, first to get ripped off on the tickets, and then second to get ripped off on food.
Right.
I mean, some people can barely afford to go to McDonald's and feed their damn family.
You can't go to McDonald's anymore. I mean, you can get the $5 meal, but if you buy like 2 quarter pounders with cheese and fries, it's $16. Do people realize this?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Are we in the twilight zone? Rent is over $2,000. Gas is what, $3 to $4 a gallon? You wonder why I'm driving a Tesla? Because it's a lot cheaper to charge up. It's $10 to $15 at the most to charge up. I can't pay for a gas guzzling car to drive it all around. I get it's a choice, but everybody's going through those choices right now. And you're throwing.
And then you're supposed to go. So let's say if me and my 4 children go to a baseball game, let's see.
Yeah.
Even if we pay $20 a ticket, that's $100. Then food. I mean, me and all my kids, we're huge people.
Yep.
So I'm talking about 2 hot dogs, couple burgers, drinks. I mean, dude, you're talking about at least another $150 just in food.
Yeah.
So, and then driving to get, I live in Newport Richie. That means I have to be in this terrible traffic on US 19 to get there.
Right.
Pay for parking. And this is all after a work day.
Right.
All after a work day.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that.
You're good at staying at home and saving money and not supporting an owner who completely browbeats you every chance he gets.
Who thinks people like me who don't want to come and spend our hard-earned money are pieces of shit.
There you
Excuse
go.
my French.
No, that's okay. Well, French has been used a lot tonight. It's okay.
Oh, I know. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Hey, it's definitely Christmas time because this show has been lighting up all night.
Oh yeah, I've
oh my God, man!
I was thinking about not doing a show today because I had to vent a little bit from work, but I came on. I said, TJ, kind of cheer me up. TJ came on, gave me some facts, gave me some great football talk, and
I want to say this. I want to say this to your boy Ray Kennedy for Peter. Peter is not upset with you.
Nope.
He understands how passionate you are about what you were saying. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have our different opinions.
Yep.
And at that time, he just felt like your opinion meant nothing because he was listening to what you were saying, but you weren't listening to what he was saying.
There you go.
That's all it was, brother. That's all it was.
That's it.
And the proof is in the pudding on this guy.
Yep.
I mean, listen, we watched the Rays we watched the Buccaneers go from hiring people like Greg Schiano and what's the other guy's name? Countless other coaches that were just god awful.
Yeah.
To people have something to say about Moles, but Moles is winning.
That's it.
Moles is winning.
8-1, Curtis. 8-1. That's the statistic right now. And Sarah, I see you calling back here, so I will take your call after I'm done with Curtis. 8-1 in December and January regular season games going back to last winter, and they're 20-5 in games since 2020. People go, well, they had Tom Brady. Okay, but Todd Bowles is a part of that. Okay?
I'm sorry, we've had Baker Mayfield the last 2 years.
That's correct.
And I'm sorry, did this team not go on winning streaks in November, December last year?
Isn't that the best time to go on a winning streak? Is in November, December football, January football, because it's meaningful, not September or October, right?
Nobody wants to play this. Nobody in the NFC wants to play this team in the playoffs.
Nope.
Nobody does.
Nope.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you my gift right now.
Okay.
I pray Chris Godwin comes back for the playoffs.
So
it's a fat chance in hell.
Right.
But if Chris Godwin comes back for the playoffs, we're definitely going to raise all kind of hell.
So Chris Godwin in the playoffs in the postseason with his health. That's what
I need our team completely healthy for the playoffs.
Okay.
That's my Christmas for my Buccaneers.
Love it. Curtis, I love it. I love the idea. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair.
Hey, brother.
Yes.
Keep on shining, man. That's all I gotta tell you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Keep on shining, brother.
Appreciate you. Love you, brother. All right, let me go back out to the phone line. Sarah, is this your second call?
Yes, it is.
All right, what's going on?
First of all, keep Curtis on the phone.
Okay. We had Curtis on the phone. He'll call back if he needs to.
Keep him.
He's great, right?
Yes. So first of all, he was talking about Raheem Morris, who is the coach of who is
the Atlanta Falcons.
That's who he was talking about.
Yes. Well, you had Raheem
He
Morris.
had
You had
several
Lovie,
questions.
You had
Like
Lovie
he threw
Smith.
out
Yeah,
so much knowledge for sure.
of course, absolutely. That's what our callers do here. So,
Okay, so I'm watching at the same time. So
all
let's do
right,
this.
all right, Sarah.
The reason why the Rays are going to die
Okay.
is because one of all, like I already said it, we're a transplant state, and second of all, they have 81 games.
Yep. You got to turn down your phone there. I know you're going to try to hear yourself, but just listen to me on the phone here. All right. I don't know what's going on there. Let me go back out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Why don't fans support the Rays?
This is Eric from Lakeland, Florida.
Why don't you support the Rays?
I mean, I support them, but I mean,
how many games you go to a year?
I haven't been in a game in like 2 years, but
Why?
it's all the way in St. Pete.
Well, why don't you go out to the Rays game? Is it ownership? Is it cost? What is it, man? What is it? Tell everybody out there what it is.
Time on my hand. I mean, not enough time. I went to like 4 games 1 year.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the parking, as another guy said, the parking's bad. A block away, 2 blocks away.
So you think ownership could actually lower the or lower the ticket cost there? Would you still go support the Rays if they lowered the cost, the ticket cost?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing at Steinbrenner, so it's hopefully they'll sell out every game. It's 12,000 capacity at Steinbrenner?
12,000, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're going to go out there and support this team?
Yeah.
What's the reason why you wouldn't support this team? Is it ownership?
I mean, I'm a diehard Tampa Bay fan. I have been my whole life.
Does it make you, let me ask you this. Does it make you angry that a multi-million-dollar owner will tell you to invest in his product, but won't do the same thing?
Yeah.
Why does it make you mad?
I try not to let it get to me, but I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Do you think that most of the fans in the Tampa Bay area, the reason why they won't support the Rays is because of ownership?
Yeah.
Okay. There's another fan right there, guys. There's another fan. I mean, how many fans we got to have tonight? I'll stay up here all night long. I'll stay up here until midnight, and we'll just talk to every Tampa Bay fan.
Do you think so? The stadium bond's passed. Do you think we'll have a stadium in St. Pete in 2029?
I don't know. I have no idea. But if I'm the community of St. Pete, if I'm Pinellas County, I'm not giving him any more money. I'm telling him to pound sand. I'm telling Major League Baseball to step in and say, listen, we're not giving you any more money. Take the money that you saved on not signing players. Take the money that you saved over the years that you got from the other big market teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox and put that money towards your stadium. Everybody wants to talk about Skeletor, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones. But the one thing you can respect about Jones is at least he put the money in to build his own stadium, right?
Oh, one more question. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Can they get the money back if the case gets? I mean, I heard they can only get the money back if there's a conviction, which it just keeps. I mean, it gets pushed back.
Wander
Three of the
Franco?
witnesses. Yeah,
he's done. He's done. Forget about him. He's done. He's not coming back, my friend. He's not coming back to the Rays. He's not coming back to Major League Baseball. He doesn't need to come back to Major League Baseball because of all the allegations that are out there. There's way too much. And then on top of it, he has a gun charge that he just had. Forget about it. He's done. Stick a fork in him. I hope they can get the money back. I would expect the money and this Rays ownership to do that. So,
yeah.
All right, Eric, anything else?
Bring the passion. Bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Love it. Good stuff, Eric. Appreciate it. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm asking people the question. Yes, Sarah, go ahead. Finish your call. Hello, Sarah?
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear the background. You can't play that in the background. So what's up?
Right.
What's on your mind?
So there's like several levels to what you're asking right now about the Rays Stadium.
Okay.
Like as a local, like the whole entire thing is, well, it doesn't matter how you slice it and dice it. There's 81 games. which means you can charge less for tickets. They monetize it for like each individual like set of series.
Right.
So like it can be like a Cuban night, or it can, which is part of Tampa's heritage, even though they're in St. Pete.
Which,
But
by the way, did they do any of that on the weeknights, by the way? Did you ever notice that they don't do it on the weeknights?
no, so we went to like Scouts Day. We went to all these other things. Yes.
You
no,
know
they've
that's
never
you
done
know
any-
that's done by design, right? You know the reason why
Absolutely.
they don't.
So this is how that's their managing structure. Like they know that people are going to flock in from wherever to see the opposing team. And let's be honest, it's covered. Like it does have air conditioning. It means a lot to people who are from out of town. So they will definitely flock there.
Mhm.
It is built by design, exactly what you said.
Mm.
So these are all factoring in. And nobody cares about parking because they are just sliding in and going to the game. There's no tailgating with baseball, like not here anyway, because they do enough to give back to the community because they have so many games. They have 81 games. So they do enough to give back to the community, but it's not like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where you have a limited amount of games and a limited amount of time where you know exactly where you're going. You know who you're hanging out with. You know who you're taking. You know exactly what's going on. Like there's a difference. Like it's a limited amount of time and it is spectacular. And not only do we have a great organization that puts into all of it, like Brian Ford is the CEO or
Yes,
C.
you're right.
He's the man.
Yes, he
like
is.
he travels with him and he goes everywhere and he like gives back to the community. And like you don't see that one person like representing or being in the background of like a locker room shot from California. Like you don't, and we get to see that person. Like there's a difference. Like the Rays, the players do what they do because they want to win.
Right.
Period.
But you don't
and they
see
gel
from the Rays
and they have a thing.
You
and
don't
we've
see the
seen it.
Rays organization do that. You don't see them reaching out to you. You don't see them endearing
No, because
themselves
it's very
to you.
money driven. It's very money driven. And now they have like everything on their side, like losing their stadium. The stadium was already in question like way before this as locals. But as people who are passerbyers for spring training or still just hanging on for their winter to end from up north, everybody's going to these games and it's covered and it's mad hot then. So, I mean, I see both sides of it. So you're asking what's wrong.
Yeah.
I think, yes, the ownership could be way better if they wanted to support their team and wanted to support their community and what's going on like the Bucs do and the Lightning do. But I don't see that. So that's where like what you're saying with it, like they need better ownership and stuff like that comes in for me. Because like once you have the community, then you have the keys to the castle. And it's shown in everything.
Makes sense. Makes lots of sense, Sarah. Appreciate the 2 calls tonight.
Well, I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Not done yet.
Because
Okay.
Curtis was going off for a hot minute.
Okay.
And he thinks that Chris Godwin might come back in for the end of this. And I'm like, look, use him as a decoy. Let him get healthy. Don't hurt my boy. Okay. Chris Godwin is part of the duo. He's here to stay, period. That's what I said. The coach that he was thinking about was Raheem Morris, which plays for you know who, which should have never won anything. And I don't know how I feel about Penix coming in and being like the new quarterback. I think he's gonna like anything can happen, especially in December and especially with the Dirty Birdies. So I'm not ever like losing one eye off of them. Like I'm always looking at you right now, which is ridiculous. But we're still here and now we're healthy and we look so good. We have so many ninjas on our team right now and we are all firing on all cylinders. Mike Evans coming through like that. I mean, I'm happy that Baker got like player of the week, but Mike Evans came out mad strong. Like I want him to get his 1,000 yards and like, let's seal it. And he did just that. He was like, you see me?
Absolutely. They see him 251 yards away from 1,000 for the 11th consecutive season. We'll see if he can do that. Sarah, appreciate the 2 calls as always. Keep on watching the Sports Web. We'll see you on
I
Sunday.
love you,
right?
Peter, man. I won't see you for the Panthers game, but I'll be there for the Saints game.
All right. Sounds good.
My son and I are going to London for his band. So wish it Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Let's smoke these Cowboys. That's the last game I get at home, and then I'll be abroad watching from there. I love y'all. Way to go, Sports Web. Way to go, Peter. Love you, man.
Appreciate you. Love you too. Good stuff there. Gotta love it. When the fans tell you the truth. Like people will say, well, you're leading them to that. I'm just asking a question. I've been asking the question all night long. The fans have resoundingly have said on this show why they don't support the Rays. And yet people still don't want to listen. You guys don't want to listen. You just want to throw your narratives out there. You just want to say, well, this is not a baseball town. Really? Spring training? Well, they said it was not a hockey town. It's a hockey town. People support the Tampa Bay Lightning. Why do they do that? Let me go out to Curtis using your second call. Yes, sir.
Hey, I wanted to say, I forgot to mention this was people also need to understand that when people come from places like New York and Boston, when they make way more money than us, they can afford to come down here and buy the seats that we can't afford.
Correct.
And to them, they look at our prices and they laugh.
Yep.
And then they're like, well, why is the seat so cheap, but no one's here?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this guy is not doing anything to help the fan base.
Not at
He's
all.
not giving us family fun discounts or do you know what Bright House Stadium is?
I do. Yes.
Bright House Stadium sometimes does dollar nights, dollar hot dogs, dollar beers, dollar tickets.
Right.
I mean, just to fill up the stadium a couple nights a year is I mean, this guy is doing nothing but lining his pockets.
Yeah.
And I understand that's exactly what you were saying earlier. Like, this guy does not give a damn.
Nope.
Like, we watched the Glazers get tired of their team losing to like, hey, we're going to hire Jason Light. We're going to give Jason Light the keys. We're going to stay out of everything, and we're going to let the people who we hired run the team.
Bingo. Amazing, amazing concept. When you care about a team, when you care about a community, when you endear yourself to the fan base, what happens? Bucs fans show up.
I mean, listen, how many contracts has Mike Evans signed with Tampa? So what, is this third or fourth contract?
Yeah, I mean, restructures and everything else. Well, I mean, why?
I mean,
why did they
there
do
was
that?
there was a period of time where guess what? The Bucs didn't re-sign their stars.
That's right. And what happened to
At
those stars?
all.
What happened?
Just like the Lightning. There was a period of time the Lightning did not re-sign their stars.
And did you want to support those teams when they didn't do that?
Absolutely not.
That's right.
And guess what? We still did, but we didn't pound the table like we do now for those teams.
Correct.
Now I pound the table for the Bucs. I pound the table for the Lightning. And my Red Sox have sucked for a couple of years now. I still pound the table for my Red Sox.
You know why?
Every single year.
Why do you pound the table for the Red Sox? Because they won world championships and they make a commitment to win every year, whether they do it or
and
not.
they'll try
they
to,
try.
and they'll go out there and they spend. I hate the Yankees, but they just went out there and traded for Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, I think it was?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, they traded for Bellinger.
Yep.
And that DeSoto contract, Jesus, I don't even know what to say about that.
I mean,
like you would never see anything like that with the Rays.
Nope.
And I feel so bad for the Rays fan base because I tried to be a Rays fan, and I'm like, they don't want to win. And as much as they are very I take nothing away from the players. I take nothing away from the coaches. I take nothing from the scouts, the GM. None of those people. If anybody has any problem with anything with the Rays, look up top. It starts at the beginning.
Boom.
At the very beginning.
Well said.
It's just, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's ridiculous. It is really ridiculous. And for anybody to think that the problems don't begin and end with him, I'm sorry, you're being delusional. Because nothing is going to get better. And I think me and you had this conversation a couple months ago.
Yep.
I would love to see the Rays sell the team to the Glazers and the Lightning. I would love to see the Glazers and the Lightning ownership by the Rays combined.
The joint ownership.
And get this guy out of here.
Yep. Just get them out of here. Just sell them off. Take your $3-4 billion you're going to sell the Rays for, because you're going to probably try to sell it for double or triple than what they already are worth, because that's what you do, and get the hell out of here. Go be a Mets fan. You know,
I mean, the only other guy I love is like what is that guy that owns the Clippers? He bought the Clippers, and he bought their own stadium in Inglewood,
right?
Getting away from the Lakers.
Yep.
I love that guy.
Right.
I love that guy because guess what he did? He's doing it for the fans. He's not just doing it for himself. He's not doing it to line his pocket. His pockets are already fat.
Correct.
He's trying to make he wants a hell of a team, because guess what? That's also his legacy.
Yep.
Peter, I love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
You have a good night, man.
All right. Good stuff there. I mean, right there. That's a Red Sox fan. He's telling you why he supports the Red Sox. You want to switch a Red Sox fan over to a Rays fan? Fat chance. Fat chance. You're not going to do that. You know why? Because there's no commitment by the Rays. There's none. No commitment. No hope. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Question of the night. Why don't you support the Rays? Why? Just tell me. I'm sitting here right now. Tell me. It's 11:49 at night. I'm in a closed-off studio, but the roommates are sleeping, I guess. Tell me. All right. Let's go back out to these comments here. We'll read these comments, and then we'll get out of here. I always ask the question. Always ask it. I can't take any more calls from you, Sarah. I got 2 calls tonight. I appreciate the support, though. I appreciate that. 2 calls the minimum at this point. Let's see. Got a feeling TJ will be the next voice of the Bucs when Mean Gene hangs up the mic. We'll see. L. Bushman, don't make me come on and wear my Stillberg shirt. Sister shitty plan. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Travis Faley, I know why they did it. Ken Welch, the mayor, wanted to feed his people, and that's why he did this deal. All politics, all money, 100% correct. Travis, again, not true, Ray. If the team leaves, he still gets to deal with the land. That's what they always wanted. That's why the deal was always going to be in St. Pete. As much as everybody wants it to be in Tampa and it's a location, everything else, that is the carrot that St. Pete had over the Rays. That's the leverage. They wanted the redevelopment. They wanted their cake and eat it too. That has always been it. That is the only thing. That's the only reason. You don't change your mind overnight and say St. Pete is not a Major League Baseball town and then have a $1.6 billion stadium built unless there is something in it for you. The art of the deal. It has always been that way with Stu and this ownership, and it will continue to be that way. And I do not think because a new stadium is being built that they will spend more money. I do not. Until there's a new ownership in. I have no faith at all. None. I think they're liars. I think they're crooks. I think they're snake oil salesmen. I've said this over and over again. Over and over again. And you can hear the fans. And why is that? For the last 10 to 15 years, this is what it's been. This is what it is. This is what Stu did. This is what he did. This is what he did to this fan base. This is the reason why they don't support it. It's not just price. It's the fact you don't have hope. There's no reason to support the Rays on the idea of, well, they're talented young baseball players. Great. Where are they going? Are they going to win a World Series this year? No, they're coming up short. You know why? Because there's no investment. Nothing. None. When have the Rays ever made a big-time trade? You know, it worked for the Texas Rangers a couple of years ago. By the way, they eliminated the Rays in the first round. Remember that? Where the Rays didn't have any offense? Remember that? Huh? Did that work? How about the Dodgers with Andrew Freeman? How about the Cubs with Joe Madden and Ben Zobrist? That stuff stings. It stings Rays fans. You don't see this stuff happening with the Bucs. They sign their own players. Oh my God, we missed out on Devin White. Nobody's saying that. Devin White should have been gone. They let him go. He should have been gone. He should not have been a Buccaneer. There's no loss here. If they want to keep you, they'll keep you. It's easy once again, but Pete's not answering the phone. I answered the phone. Thank you, Travis, for calling in. L. Bushman says Major League Baseball will step in and make Stu sell. Thank God. Stu doesn't even live here. Lives in New York. Outsider. I'll run the team. Please do. Wow, Ray is home. Thought he was homeless. Very good. Springs got hurt too much. Very true. High salary, though. Yeah. High salary. It was a great trade. We'll see. Yep, but success doesn't equate fans in the stands. I think it's more than success. It's got to be more than success. It's got to. It's got to be World Series championships. It's got to be commitment. You got to endear yourself to the community. We've seen it with Jeff Finnick. We've seen the reaching out. We've seen the Glazers do it. That is the difference. You heard Sarah talk about Brian Ford. He is all over the community with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's why people watch this show. That's why people watch the other shows. When it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're interested. That's why people watch Tampa Bay Lightning shows, because they're interested, because the ownership has endeared themselves, because you believe, you have hope before the season. Even with getting rid of a Steven Stamkos, you believe that the organization knows what they're doing, that they have the best interest, that they're going to win, that they're committed to winning. That's what it's about. That's what being a Tampa Bay sports fan is all about. And again, you're used to filet mignon, you don't take hamburger. And I'm sorry, that's what the Rays are. They're the third team in this market. Period. Bushman says 2025 is a big question mark for the offense. No identity. They need to build their offense around Junior Caminero. There you go. Price, Snell, Morton, Archer, Longoria, Crawford. How about Charlie Morton? You like that one? How many World Series championships did he leave with or win leaving the Rays? How many? It's not good. Mean Gene for Ring of Honor. Absolutely agree with that. Oh, yeah. Christopher Cole, heck, the Ricketts have been spending a lot of money, haven't spent a lot of money either, but they have spent money. They have won the World Series championship in the last 10 years. They were committed. They have been committed. Some Rays fans need to be committed to an insane asylum with all the fan favorites they lost. Again, go back to it. Price, Snell, Morton, Archer, Longoria, Crawford, Zobrist, Wade Davis. How many more? How fun is it to be a Bucs fan? Sunday Night Football and relevant football in December. LFG. Absolutely. Let's go! What is a victory? Says Two Giant Goofballs. Are you guys still playing Smash or Pass tonight? I heard that rumor. No. Who is going to pay for the cost overruns for the new stadium? Not Stu. He should. Don't forget Hedman. Absolutely, Dave. Good comment. Oh, yeah. Ray, put down the coffee. Cam, Tom Brady's baby mama ruined his final season. Are we retiring 56 then for LT2? I mean, if he made that type of impact to Tom Brady, which some people would equate that he made some type of impact like that, I guess you can make that case. It'd be more for the Giants. But league-wide, when it comes to making an impact, I definitely think you can make a case for Tom Brady's number being retired league-wide. I think you could. I know there's cheating allegations out there. I know there's stuff out there. But if you're sitting here and denying that he's not the greatest of all time, what are you looking at? Like, it's the same thing with Jordan. Jordan had gambling allegations, but people will say 23 should be retired. LeBron James should have never won 23. Should have stuck to 6. Right? In fact, there was talk of Jordan and LeBron visiting, how Jordan said to LeBron, he should not be wearing 23. They should be honoring that number. I started watching the Lightning when they drafted Brian Bradley. There you go. Logan says, I'm with Peter. Retire the number 12, the GOAT. Teams retire numbers, not leagues. Why not? Why not? Peter's got some crazy eyes going on tonight. That's what happens. Let's retire Jordan, 23 across the NBA. Why not? Spygate, all gates. Cam. I don't know what that is. Mahomes won't last long enough for him to reach Brady. Tim, Spygate was Aaron Hernandez's fault. Mike, they should retire 12. The NHL retired 99 Wayne Gretzky league-wide. Did they retire it league-wide? There you go. Oh, yeah. Tim, Fran Tarkenton was number 10. Thank you. Did baseball retire a number? Nope, they did. It's 42. You could retire them all together. Cam, the Jets are about to retire Aaron Rodgers' number. Yes. Is there B in there? Peter can't handle the buzz. Are you creating Ray? Lee Jones. Tampa Bay Rays drunk. You got him hot. I guess I did. Dave, upset. Dave, again, it's getting a bit chippy out there. It is. Rough waters. Ray. So Tampa Bay are a bunch of front runners. No, we didn't say that. What we said was that you got to make a commitment like the other ownerships have done in the Tampa Bay community. The Lightning have made that commitment. The Bucs have made that commitment. The Rays have yet to make that commitment. And that's the reason why you don't have the fan support. And I'll continue to say that. You want to talk about location? Fine. Talk about location. You want to talk about this and that and the other thing? Talk about that. But at the end of the day, it's definitely ownership, and it's ownership in their way that they treated these fans. Show went off the rails. Crazy, but that's how it goes. Ray again. Sorry, Peter H. Blake, my brother. You're right. I've been following the stadium deal all week, and I got contentious. Love you too, brother. Tell us how you really felt, Peter. I agree with you 100%. Dave, 2017 Astros won World Series with 17 ranked payroll. I got to check that. And then the Marlins sold off all their players the very next season, but at least they won a World Series, right? Like in 97, they sold off all their players. In 2003, they were a low salary team. They won a World Series, but how many teams have done that over the last 25 to 30 years? One team. One. We are hot. Go Bucs. Absolutely. Go Bucs. Let's go! Dante says, facts. Stu is the worst of the owners. Stu is more, I'm not going to throw that. Christopher Cole. Yeah, they have $10 tickets, but you have to mortgage your house to pay for concession. Ben, what's up, Peter Blake? LFG. Let's go! Let's go, Bucs. Absolutely. Let's go! Let's see. Saw that. Love you, Cam, but seriously, you could be a total ass clown in a good way. Christopher Cole, Evans, Godwin, and McMillan is going to be dominant next season. Sarah, I try to be a Lightning fan, Rays fan, but nothing compares to the Bucs. I've been going to games at the Big Sombrero since a kid. It's just in my bloodline. It's a different beast. Scott, and I'm thinking Peter H. Blake is a sideline reporter when TJ takes over for Gene. I love that. That would be great, huh? Peter Blake, sideline reporter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kind of has a nice little ring to it, doesn't it, Scott? We can only hope, though. We can only hope, right? But TJ Reeves, man, the media icon, he's amazing. He really is. He's absolutely amazing. And we love the fact that he comes on this show and we'll have a debate and we'll talk about the Tampa Bay Rays and not just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and around the NFL. And he put out the facts. And he's basically preaching what I've said for the last 5 years to more on this show. I used to get into arguments and debates like I did with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy with the late, great Sean the Sports Don. And he said it didn't matter. And I said, it does matter. It absolutely matters. Love you, Sean. Maybe I overcooked the grits tonight. Maybe a little. Magic MK13 is the GOAT. Scott, when the Rays get a new stadium for more revenue, Stu will have no excuse, but he will come up with one. Exactly. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up, guys. I appreciate all the guests for the night. The media icon, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, Harry the Greek, Tampa Bay Ray, love you as always, and all the phone calls, all the text messages. I really appreciate you guys. We'll be live at Ferg's on Sunday. I'm thinking, probably about 5, 6 o'clock. Get you ready for Bucs versus the Dallas Cowboys. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. We will have this debate and the questions of the night. Well, the question of the night, why don't you support the Rays? It will continue on this show. The roommates are sleeping. 3 things. We'll keep it low. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as always, go Bucs.